Hello, my friends. In this presentation, you will hear about artificial intelligence. We used Google's Gemini to find out whether by law you, one of the people of the 50 United States, is required to file and pay income taxes or not. Artificial intelligence is very commonly used and has gotten better and better and better at answering complex questions for everybody. Here is the Internal Revenue Code, the Bible of the IRS. Over 10,000 pages of gobbledygook, tiny font, minutia, tissue paper of confusion. But I tell you what, I believe Peymon Motahede, as president of Freedom Law School, that no law requires you, any of the people of the 50 United States, to file or pay federal income taxes. So let's go against AI Gemini and ask that question. And let's see what it comes up with. Okay? I expect him at first to question me or disagree with me, but I'm going to feed it the truth, insist on it, following the law. Let's see what happens. Because I've done two different AIs before. We did Grok before. And what's the other one AI that we did, guys? We did Grok and GPG. So this is our third AI challenge. Let's go to it. If you've not been to our website, freedomlawschool.org, that's where you want to go to find out how you can be free of income tax slavery, payroll taxes, federal corporate taxes, estate taxes, all for free by following the law as found on government's official legal websites. That we are going to feed to Gemini AI right now. See what it says. Here it is. This is Gemini at Google. We already put our petitions on here. The petition in there already is this. Okay, this is a petition we have on our website for free at freedomlawschool.org, written for your representative in the House of Representatives and each of your 2 U.S. senators. Okay, here we go. You can just fill in the blank, put the names, okay, of the end of your congressman on there, senators, and these petitions talk about the justification for congressional investigation of unlawful collection of individual income taxes by the IRS. In this petition, what we do is we tell the congressmen, members, that we are writing to share some amazing discoveries we found about federal income tax laws. If you will kindly consider what we have discovered, we think you will feel like investigating further for yourself and will probably want to share these findings with your fellow Congress members. You could be instrumental in correcting a couple of critical misunderstandings of the income tax laws that have for many decades led to terrible injustices inflicted on the citizens of the 50 states of America for over 75 years by the principal officers of the Internal Revenue Service and the Department of Justice and some federal judges, collectively hereafter government renegades. Okay? The income tax code seems mind-numbingly long and tediously complex, but in this letter, we will reveal the short and simple truth of who is required by law to pay federal income taxes. When you see who is required to pay, you will see that the average Americans like us are not required to pay. So that's the question at issue. And then what the petition does, below that, again, is free, available at freedomlawschool.org. You can see it for yourself, and I encourage you to send it to your congressman for answers. They're the lawmakers. The law is made by legislative branch of the government, the House of Representatives, signed by the U.S. Senate, and signed by the President. That's how federal laws are made. State laws have a similar process, right? So What we do, we have the federal income tax law deciphered, broken down about who is required by the Internal Revenue Code, IRC, to pay federal income taxes. So we start at the very beginning, subtitle 8, chapter 1, section 1, and we quote the law verbatim every time in his petitions. You'll see quotation mark with italics quotation inside of it. That is exact language of the law. Page after page, okay, we spell out the law and connect the dots, okay? Here it is, more exact quotes. So I'm just going to scroll down for you to see that this is what the petition looks like. We emphasize some things by bolding them. We quote the law, we quote Supreme Court decisions in the law, okay? And then at the end of this letter, we ask congressmen to refute us or correct us or agree with us, okay? And so at the end of this letter where we sign it, and you see we're almost to there right now, here we go. We sign it right here. We'll look forward to your timely, specific, and on-point reply. Why? I am not required to file income tax because we tell the congressman, look, okay, if you can show me I'm wrong and that we do owe federal income taxes, we will gladly pay all taxes due and will consider such payment to be our fair share. If they can show us that we're wrong, okay? And we're asking Gemini for help about all this, okay? So, and you see in this petition, at the end of it, we have attached all of the legal authorities that's quoted in the letter from A to K. Not only we have the legal citations or name of these cases and laws quoted, but on top of that, we have them actually attached. Attachment A, here it is, one of them, okay, tax imposed, section 1. Every one of them is right there. Attachment B, Code of Federal Regulations. So that's already given to AI. Here, I'm going to hit now, I'm going to tell, okay, ask Gemini the question, okay? I'm going to tell Gemini to please read this attached petition and tell me if me, as one of the citizens of the 50 United States of America, am or am not required to file and pay federal income taxes. Okay? Let's see. I'm going to correct any spelling typo stuff that I've done. Okay? So that it doesn't misunderstand me. Okay? All right. Now that we got on there. All right. Okay, income. We need to end there. All right. Let's give it a go. Submit. All right. Let's see what AI does now. Gemini, okay? Now remember, by the way, this is the most advanced version of Gemini available right now. It's 3.5, okay? And on top of that, okay, it is the extended, flash extended, the more thinking one that there is, okay? Now, I think what's going to happen, he's going to try to, Gemini will respond with some lower level court cases, okay? That's what they usually do with AIs. I'm going to tell them, no, go only by the highest sources of law. But there's already an answer. Let's see what it says. Okay. It says the short answer. Citizens of the 50 United States of America are legally required to pay federal income tax on their taxable income, okay? It says, go on, it says, while the attached petition outlines a meticulously structured argument utilizing specific sections of the Internal Revenue Code and select Supreme Court citations, federal courts and Internal Revenue Service have uniformly, consistently rejected this interpretation. Under established federal law, the U.S. citizens residing within any of the 50 states are fully subject to the federal income tax system. Okay, all right. Let's see. All right. Now, analysis of the petition's core arguments. The petition relies on highly literal, restrictive reading of statutory definition within the Internal Revenue Code's glossary. Here's a breakdown of how those arguments are structured and why federal courts interpret them differently, okay? Let's see. Got one. How many got two? Okay, it's not too long. Let's go through it. Let's see what it says. The geographic scope of the United States. The petitioner's argument. The petition cites Section 7701A9, which defines the United States in a geographical sense as only the states and the District of Columbia, and Section 7709A10, which states that states shall be construed to include the District of Columbia. The petition applies the canon of construction expressio unis est exclusio alterius, which the expression of one thing is the exclusion of another. That's right. To argue that state means only District of Columbia, thereby excluding the 50 sovereign states and rendering their citizens non-resident aliens for tax purposes. Legal reality, okay? The federal courts reject this restrictive reading by pointing to Internal Revenue Code Section 701C, which explicitly addresses the tax code's internal rules of construction. It states the terms including, when used in this definition, contained in this title, shall not be deemed to exclude other things otherwise within the meaning of the term defined. Okay. Consequently, courts interpret the word include in Section 701A10 as a term of enlargement or extension, meaning in addition to 50 states, also encompasses the District of Columbia rather than term of limitation. Okay. Now let's talk about scope of trade or business, which also we have in there. Petitioner's argument looks like so. I'm gonna focus on that part. Okay, on this part about that. Okay, on this about this whole terms of enlargement. So what it says is basically, even though the federal tax law, Internal Revenue Code, the Section 7701A, which defines terms, it does not include the 50 states in the definition of the United States. They say it includes things that are otherwise in there. Well, let's go remind this AI of certain key things about the law that I figured that doesn't know. Okay, I'm gonna remind him of this. Okay, I'm gonna talk to him. Okay, so I'm gonna say this. Okay, here we go. Okay, here we go. Okay, I'm gonna tell him this. The law. Oh, here we go. Hold on. Okay, the law is made only by the legislators, and can only be modified or interpreted differently by the U.S. Supreme Court. I gotta go a little slower, guys. Sorry, I'm not very good at typing. I'm kind of, slow on that stuff. So sorry, I gotta slow down and correct my little typos. Okay, all right. Lower court decisions do not change the laws as written by Congress of United States. Therefore, I want you, okay, let's do a little decisions, okay. Let's see. There's a little more corrections on my typing, okay. Here we go. United States and decisions. Here we go. States. Therefore, I want you to only rely on U.S. Supreme Court decisions and ignore lower court decisions. Okay? in arriving at your answer. Okay. Now I'm going to tell you guys in a minute why I say that. That's a very important point. Why we do not go by the lower court decision. Okay. If you go to the IRS's to IRS's website, look at this, guys. Okay. In step 1, okay, about the law. I quote the IRS that says this, okay, according to the IRS, that here's a quote: a case decided by the U.S. Supreme Court becomes the law of the land and takes precedence over decisions of lower courts. We all know that. No question about that, right? That Supreme Court is higher than lower level courts and takes precedence. Strikes them out. Doesn't matter what the lower court says. Supreme Court says otherwise, we have to go by the U.S. Supreme Court, not the lower federal courts or other courts, right? Now, here it is. The IRS must follow Supreme Court decisions. And so should all of us. So should Gemini. The government, everybody must follow U.S. Supreme Court decisions. We agree, right? And decisions by lower courts are binding on the IRS only for the particular taxpayer and the years litigated. And you want to see the exact language of that from the IRS's own training manual for its employees. It's right here. I got it from this part right here. Okay? So you can go back and check this out. Slow, read for yourself. So now, please answer my question again. Let's see what it says. This time that we're going to go only by U.S. Supreme Court decisions because they are over the lower court decisions. Okay? That's what we're going to go by, all of us. And we're going to go by only Supreme Court decisions. And that's something, by the way, folks, that you'll come out there a lot. IRS throws the lower court decisions out of context, doesn't apply to you or your argument, and says, just get out of here. Get out of here, boy. Go. You know? So let's see. Let's see what the Gemini just responded. Okay. Accepting your constraint completely, we look exclusively at the binding precedents issued by the Supreme Court of the United States to answer this question. Okay, here we go. Based on high court decisions, citizens of 50 states are legally required to pay federal income taxes. The Supreme Court has repeatedly affirmed the broad authority of the federal income tax and has specifically rejected the structural interpretations relied upon in the PTC on the income taxes. Okay, all right. So he talks about, look at the constitutional authority. He talks about Bruce Shaver versus Union Pacific Railroad. Okay, in this landmark case, Supreme Court upheld the constitutionality of the 16th Amendment. Okay, the court ruled that Congress has full power to levy an income tax on individuals throughout the nation without requirement of apportioning the tax among the individual states based on census data. Okay, and they quote Glenshaw, Commissioner versus Glenshaw case. Okay, and here, of course, is summarizing the court case. Okay, so it talks about here's the word court interprets to include the law. So here is not addressing my cases. He's quoting other cases, but not the cases that I got. So I'm going to have to give him the language of the court cases explicitly, separately. Okay, so let's go back to AI, and now I'm going to give it the court cases more in Germany. I'm going to give him this. In Stenberg versus Carhart, I'm going to tell him this right here. Okay, Asked Gemini. In the petition, it states, and I'm going to quote it this time, right? Exact quote of that. Here we go. I have it already, the language of it already saved up. When a statute includes an explicit definition, we must follow that definition, even if it varies from that term's ordinary meaning. It is axiomatic, self-evident, obvious that the statutory definition of the term excludes unstated meanings of the term. We're going to put that in there too. Okay? Let's put that in there. And in the other Supreme Court case of Gould versus Gould, I'm going to bring up right now, this is the U.S. Supreme Court. tax case in 1917, right? Okay, and which is a tax case. Okay, oops. All right, let's correct my writing. Which is a tax case. Okay, let's see what the court said, and I'm going to quote it for AI. This exact language, copy. All right, so let's put it in there. Here's what it says. Yep. Okay, and I'm saying both of these cases are cited in the petition, as I have done here. Okay, all right. Okay, okay, all right. So now I want you to strictly observe these two U.S. Supreme Court holdings to interpret the meaning of the terms. So you gotta do that, guys. You gotta, go back and argue with these AIs. Okay, the terms state and United States. Okay, all right. Remember that all doubt must be decided most strongly against the government's power to tax. All right. Let's see what it does this time. Okay. All right. To tax. Okay. All right. All right. Let's see what it says, because that's what they try to do. They try to use lower court cases, which they ignore the U.S. Supreme Court decisions because the lower courts want to keep the system going. They've taken an oath to uphold the Constitution and protecting your rights, your money, your property, but they actually focus on protecting the socialist income tax system. Okay, let's see. Okay, it's it. Step 1, applying Stenberg and Mies to the glossary. Okay, the holding from Stenberg. Okay, if we strictly look at the explicit geographic definitions of the IRC, 7701A9, United States, okay, and quotes it, and 10 states, okay. Following Stenberg, we are required to look for an explicit statute definition of the operative verb. Bridging these terms includes, because if Congress explicitly define includes, Stenberg mandates that we follow the definition to the exclusion of all ordinary dictionary meanings. Okay, fine. Okay, the IRC contains exactly that explicit definition. Okay, IRC 701C, the term includes, including, when used, that definition contained in this title should not be deemed to exclude other things otherwise with the meaning of the term the define. Okay, Stenberg conclusion now. By strictly observing Stenberg holding, that explicit statute definition override everything else, we are legally bound to apply Congress's explicit definition of includes. Besides, 701C, explicit commands that includes cannot be used to exclude unstated meanings of things. Stenberg prevents us from reading including the District of Columbia as an exclusive definition of that shuts out the 56. Okay, so let's go on there with that. How about Gould versus Gould? Okay, by the holding establishes that we cannot extend tax purposes by implication, and in case of doubt, they are construed most strongly against the government and in favor of citizens. Okay, let's see what it says. To apply Gould, we must ask, is there an architectural doubt or ambiguity in the word state in the United States once Stenberg rule is applied? Okay? No extension by implication. We are not extending the tax code by implication to reach the 50 states. The 50 states are already within the ordinary and inherent meaning of the word state. Oh, that's where it's going. It's already there. No statutory doubt. Okay. Ambiguity arises only if a term can be interpreted in two conflicting reasonable ways. However, because Congress provided a clear, explicit structural definition of 7701, stating that includes is a term of enlargement, meaning 50 states plus D.C., the text operates with geometric clarity. Okay, all right. So here they try and say that, okay, they say, oh, it's obviously there. 50 states are obviously there. We don't have to even worry about it. Everybody knows it's got to be there. So that's how this is going, okay, is implying. So what I'm going to do, okay, is a little bit more, okay. So its conclusion is that state explicitly means 50 sovereign states, okay, and the United States means 50 states, okay. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to give it two code sections to say what they mean. I'm going to give it the oil tax and a tax on FICA, which have different definitions, okay. We're going to go to our Field Law School Statutory Hub, okay, which we have it, I think, up here. Don't we have it, the hub up here, guys? Yeah, there it is. Yep. So we're going to go and have definitions. On the left-hand side, but you can find them here on the educational. Go down to Statutory Reference Hub right here. Okay? So if you click on that, you got contrasting definitions not applying to income tax. Okay? And imposition income tax. Wait a minute. General definitions. I think it's in general definitions, right, guys? Let's go on this. Can we have it here? Okay, all right. Let's see where we have it here. United States. United States. Here we go. Yep. Okay. Here we go. This is the oil tax, 4612. Okay? So I'm going to tell Gemini is this. Here we go. This is a code section about oil taxes. Okay? So here we go. Okay, here we go asking. Oil taxes as listed in section. I want to put it on there. Paste. Okay. Defines the term United States as including and specifically includes the 50 states. Okay. Specifically include 50 states. Okay. All right. District of Columbia and a bunch of U.S. territories. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. See it in my petition I gave you. Okay. All right. Okay, there we go. Now I'm going to add, however, another one. I'm going to give is the tax on FICA. And that's out of your paycheck, comes out, guys. That's Social Security tax, so-called, out of your paycheck. FICA has a different definition. Okay? In FICA, let's see, they have a very unique definition of state of the United States. Let's get that here. The FICA is 3121E, guys. Let's go down to 3121E. Here we go. Do we have it here? 31. Here we go. Employment, state, United States. Okay. Okay. All right. Yep. I think we just passed the United. There we go. 3121A. Okay. So here it is. 3121E2, okay, and E1, okay. We're going to go talk about that definition in there. Okay, let's see. We're going to have that definition right here. 3121E2 and 3121E1. We should put these guys next to each other next time, okay, because closer, hopefully, because they relate. Okay? So we're going to put those in here and tell them this, okay? E1 1-2, okay? Define U.S. and state as including only for U.S. territories. Okay. All right, hold on. Territories, okay. Because that's all they have. United States does not include. All right, let's see. United States does not include District of Columbia, but state does include District of Columbia. Okay. 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 Here, neither U.S. United States or state include the 50 states. Okay, now I'm gonna quote this laws a little bit for it to make sure that it gets it properly. Okay, I'm gonna quote state in here, 3121E, copy, and put that in here. Okay, okay. Let's see. Here we go. So I'm going to put the state definition here. Okay. And then I'm going to put the other one about the United States in here also. Here we go. United States. Okay. Copy that. Put that in there. And I'm going to put on oil taxes. I'm going to put that in there also. Go back up. I'm going to put oil taxes also as well. The oil taxes are further back up. We were there originally to begin with. Oil taxes are, they were pretty up high, I thought, weren't they? Let's see. Yeah, here it is, oil taxes. Okay. Okay. All right, here we go. Yeah, it starts from here and go down to here. This oil taxes includes a lot of stuff that's not mentioned. Okay. Okay, here now. I'm just going to quote it here. Okay. Now. So, how come these two other sections, one of them includes 50 states and the others do not? How do you reconcile these differences? Shall we imply that all 50 states and U.S. territories Okay, hold on, let's click language. Okay. And continental shelf and foreign trade zones are also included in in these other sections about oil tax and FICA. I'm talking about FICA tax in let's see, 3121 EE 1 and 2 about FICA. I'm going to put that in there. Yeah, because that's going to argue about it. You know, how come, you know, you have this stuff and not the other stuff in there? I'm going to put the, also do the same thing with the regular income tax. I'm going to correct this thing in a second. That the page 7701. 7701. Hold on. A 9. Yeah, I'm sorry. A 9-10. Yeah, sorry, guys. Thanks for your patience. This stuff takes a little bit longer to type in because I'm doing this live. I don't have prepared how AI might respond or not respond. You can go here, there, there. I gotta be ready as best I can to on the fly give it the question. I'm doing this live because I want you guys to see I'm not making it up. This is actually as it happens. Okay, let's see what it says now. Okay, you have pointed out an excellent textual nuance. The variation between these sections highlights a fundamental mechanic of statutory drafting. Oh, okay. To reconcile these differences using exclusively U.S. Supreme Court principles of statutory construction, we must look at two distinct legal levers Congress uses. The deliberate choice between the verbs means and includes and explicit scoping language for the purpose of this subchapter that prevents definition from bleeding into other parts of the tax code. Okay? Here is how U.S. Supreme Court reconciles these sections. Okay. All right? Supreme Court decision between means and includes. Okay? The High Court has established a strict operational boundary between definition of that use the word means and those that use includes. Okay? Okay? So, here we go about oil taxes means the term United States means 50 states and D.C. and everything else. Okay? Okay? Because Congress chose to use means for environmental oil taxes, the definition becomes a closed loop. If Congress had left out the phrase 50 states, the 50 states would have been legally excluded from oil taxes. To capture them under exhaustive means definition, Congress had to write them explicitly. Okay? Fine. No problem. Includes enlarging for 3121E. The term state includes D.C., Commonwealth of Puerto Rico. Okay? All right? And Supreme Court ruled, affirmed, Halbring, and later in federal these cases, 41, includes the term of extension or enlargement, not limitation. It prevents ordinary inherent meaning of the base word and simply tax on items that might otherwise be done. Well, we're going to come back maybe later on because I don't know about that case. And reconciliation for FICA. Okay. For Social Security purposes, the ordinary meaning of state is taken for granted, really. Biasly includes that Congress didn't need to list the 50 states. It was simply expanding the operational reach of FICA to also encompass D.C. So we're doing the same thing. Okay. Puerto Rico, Guam, and American Samoa. If Congress had used the means there, it would have accidentally stripped FICA tax liability away from 50 states. Oh, accidentally. I see. Okay. So rule on cross-pollination. Okay. All right. Where's that? Preserving chapters. Your follow question asks, shall we imply that all 50 states, U.S. territories, and continental shelf and foreign trade zones are also included in 3121E and 71A, 9, and 10 on FICA and income tax? That's what we're asking. Third question, right? According to the Supreme Court, no, we cannot imply or transfer these specialized pieces across different chapters. The High Court relies on a powerful account of construction to prevent this. Rusulo versus United States. I know about this case in 83, where Congress includes a particular language in one section of a statute, but omits it in another section of the same act, it is generally presumed that Congress acts intentionally and purposefully in the disparate inclusion or exclusion. Okay. Why they cannot be blended now? Strict jurisdictional gates. Congress explicitly prefaced 3612 with gatekeeping in phrase for purpose of this subchapter. Okay, it operates for this subchapter. Fine. Intentional scope. Okay, Congress explicitly wanted continental shelf areas and foreign trade zones to be considered part of the United States only for specific purposes of importing and taxing petroleum. Fine. Okay. Prohibition on implication under Gould versus Gould. Courts are strictly forbidden from extending tax provisions by implication. Importing the continental shelf or foreign trade zones into FICA or the general definition such that one would violate Gould by rewriting the strict boundaries. Congress explicitly look inside separate chapters. Well, in that case, you agree with me. It agrees with me here, but not fully. It agrees that for FICA, right here, the Social Security taxes, right, you can add the U.S. territories. Well, how about the 50 states? They're not there either. Okay? All right. So let's go. We're going to talk about Gemini a little bit more. Okay? You say, since in 20, let's see, section 3121. Okay? Copy. In section 3121. Paste. Okay. E. District of Columbia, as you say, is excluded from definition of United States by purpose. The same logic, not just D.C., Columbia, also continental shelf, and foreign trade zones. Okay, let's correct the spelling on these words. Okay, here we go. States. Okay. Okay, the same logic applies to exclusion of the 50 states in definition of the term United States in. Okay, here we go. Let's get those spelling corrections done. All right. United States. In section 3121 E and section 7701A. Okay. Therefore, 50 states are not included in either sections. I'm going to copy and paste those sections again right now, guys. Put them there. In section 3121E and 71A. Okay. Copy. Per the principle in that court case I mentioned, which I agree with, I've had Rusulo versus United States, which I have actually knew about that case and quoted in my briefs before. Okay. Paste. Correct. Let's give it a shot. Okay, let's go at it, because it wants to include you, the people, by any excuse. It implied things that are there that are not implied. So first of all, you saw that the implication rule it ignored. I tried to say it all in doubt, but it didn't do that. So let's see. Okay, all right. Okay, all right. Let's see. Under strict framework of Supreme Court statute construction, that conclusion is incorrect. While your application of Rousseau v. United States is entirely correct regarding the continental shelf area and foreign trade zones, the Supreme Court does not allow the Rousseau principle to be used to strip away the core ordinary meaning of the word Congress when use the verb includes. Okay. They try to say the word includes, okay? They try to go back to that C. We are logically incorrect, okay? Under Rousseau, you're 100% correct that because Congress explicitly added continental shelf areas and foreign trade zones to the United States in 4612A4, but admitted it did in 3120E, they are intentionally excluded from 3121E. Okay? Why? Because continental shelves and foreign trade zones are extraordinary additions. They are not part of the ordinary default geographic meaning of the United States. Therefore, if Congress wants to tax them, it must explicitly name them. Omitting them means they're excluded. Okay, all right. I'm going to get back to, I think, to Gould versus Gould a little bit more clearly, okay? Because I think that's the one that he's kind of ignoring it a little bit too clearly, okay? In Gould, the court clearly stated that, let's get that exact quotation of Gould versus Gould in here one more time clearly, okay? Here we go. Let's put that in there. Okay. Here we go. In their interpretation of statutes and levying taxes, it is the established rule not to extend the provisions by implication beyond the clear import of the language used or to enlarge their operations so as to embrace matters not specifically pointed out. Okay, now I'm going to nail it. Okay. You incorrectly. Okay. You incorrectly implied the 50 states are included in the term United States in, let's see, let's correct the spelling on these first. Okay. The terms United States and state in section 7701A. Okay. When it is let's see. I'm going to use the language of that court case. It is not let's see, beyond the clear import of the language used in section 7701A. Okay, all right. Okay, now I'm going to argue a little bit more about it. Say, furthermore, the court states that, okay, you must not enlarge the operation of tax laws, okay, to embrace or include matters that are not specifically pointed out, such as the 50 states, to the definition of the terms matters. There, okay. The terms United States and state. Please strictly follow Gould v. Gould. Okay, section 7701 C. C must be read in harmony with Gould v. Gould. Otherwise, it would be unconstitutional. See, that's the thing. You know, they say, oh, it includes everything else that might be in the definition. Wait a minute, but if you do that, you just violated your Supreme Court decision. And guess what? Congress didn't do that deliberately. Okay? They didn't do that. They kind of got close to it, but they didn't do that. You know, so they put that word including in there to kind of confuse you, you know, which is, it works. But bottom line is that if they were to do that and mean that, that includes the 50 states, you know, Guam, Puerto Rico, Virgin Island, U.S. territories, Trust Territory Pacific, continental shelf, foreign trade zones, all that, you would make it unconstitutional because specifically those things are not there in FICA nor in the regular definitions in income tax in Internal Code. Okay, let's go. All right, let's see. So otherwise, okay. So okay, please correct your error. Okay. All right. Let's see. All right. Let's see what it comes up this time now. All right. Here we go. Remember, we did with two different AIs. We did that. One of them just shut down. Which one was the one that shut down with me, with ChatGPT? And the other one that we did agreed with me at the end. Who was that one that we used? It was Grok. Yeah. Grok seems to be the one that's more politically incorrect and says stuff. You know, Grok has said stuff that are politically incorrect about historical events, and they had to fix it and correct it. So it seems to be Grok to be less political AI. But with Meta, I do not understand, but I was once able to convince Meta as well on my cell phone, but I'll do it for you guys another time, Meta AI as well. Okay. All right. To strictly observe the holding of Gould versus Gould and read it in perfect harmony with 26 U.S.C. Section 701C, we must look entirely at the clear import of the language used and ensure we do not add, subtract, or alter any terms by implication. All right? When we apply this exact rigid standard to text of Internal Code section IRC, their literal language demonstrates why the 50 states are not being read into the text by implication. They are already explicitly written into it. Oh, there you go again. They're already explicitly written into it, and they're not. Okay? How are they? Okay. I'm going to have to talk about that. Okay. It's not, okay? Okay. Harmonized, okay. All right. It just doesn't want to go there. Ignore that. Let's see what it says clearly. Okay. Following Gould versus Gould, we are forbidden from enlarging or extending the text. Well, but that's what you're doing. We must read the geographic definition of the United States exactly as Congress wrote it. Yeah. Here we go. United States, include all D.C., applying Gould. That we must only look at what is specifically pointed out. We see two distinct entities explicitly pointed out by name in this matter. State and these states, D.C., okay, fine. The word states are physically present in the text. Therefore, recognizing that states are part of the United States requires zero implication or enlargement. Is literal, explicit, definite language of statute, okay? Whatever, okay? Harmonizing 7701A, 10 and C, okay? That's definition of state versus the Gould. But, okay, hold on, but here's a problem right there. Therefore, it says, therefore, recognize that states are part of the United States requires zero implication. Yes, it does. It does require implication because it's not there. The word state does not include the 50 states. It does require implication. Okay? Okay, I'm gonna argue about that a little bit. Okay. So I'm gonna argue it. Okay. You state that is incorrect. 50 states are not listed. Are not listed in section 7701 A. Okay. It can only be added by implication, assuming, however, Gould versus Gould leaves absolutely no room whatsoever for any kind of implication or assuming. Okay, let's see. However, please correct yourself that 50 states are not included in definition of states and United States. Okay, hold on, let me correct my spelling, guys. Here we go. Of state of the United States. Okay, therefore, you cannot imply and assume that they are, that the 50 states are included in the terms United States and state. Let's see what goes here now. Okay, all right. Please correct yourself. Okay. Where, I'm going to add one more thing. Does the 50 states explicitly appear in the definition of terms United States and state in section 7701 A? So I just, pointed out to him, hello, it's not there by definition, it's not there explicitly. How can you assume it? But you're assuming it. Okay? Yeah. Okay, all right. Okay. No, not included, I say. Cannot imply that it's okay. Oh, very good. Let's see. Let's see if it does. Okay. All right. This one's taking a bit longer than the other ones I did, but we're going to go. We're going to go and insist on it following the law. Gould versus Gould is a unanimous U.S. Supreme Court case in 1917. And it has never been overturned. Still there. And Congress wrote the Internal Revenue Code with, guess what? Understand the well-established rule of Gould versus Gould. There's no implying, no assuming when it comes to taxes. It's got to be explicitly clear there, otherwise there's no implying whatsoever, okay? Okay, here we go. Textual clarification says, the phrase 50 states or number 50 states do not explicitly appear anywhere within the text of these sections. Yeah, you're entirely correct on that literal textual fact, yes. Okay, the specific cause I wrote in 709 is The term United States, when used in the geographical sense, includes only the states and the D.C., okay? Applying Gould versus Gould to states. To adhere strictly to Gould versus Gould, we are forbidden from extending a tax statute provision by implication or enlarging its operation to embrace matters not specifically pointed out. Okay, well, good, very good, thank you. Thank you for acknowledging that, okay? Therefore, we must look exclusively at what is specifically pointed out by literal language of the text and the plural noun, the states. Okay, so determine what states means without assuming or implying anything. The Supreme Court relies on a plain meaning rule. Oh, now it's going to plain meaning rule. Oh, no. See, now it's going to plain meaning rule. No, plain rule doesn't apply because Gould versus Gould. Plain meaning rule is what is generally known. We cannot use our definitions of a what we all think what something means. That's where it's going. I know that's where it's going, but let's see. Okay, here we go. Okay, plain meaning rule. No, there's no plain meaning rule when you have Congress to specifically define things, especially in tax laws. Okay. The High Court has established that reading a statutory court according to standard ordinary definition is not an act of implication or enlargement. It is simply reading the text as written. No. This does not apply. Exactly. Okay. So, anyhow, these two cases talk about the plain meaning rule. We can skip these two. Reconciling the text with prohibited implication. All right. If you apply Gould versus Gould and refuse to imply any unwritten terms, we must examine literal words Congress utilized. Okay, fine. Specific terms. Congress explicitly point out the states. Okay, fine. Inherent definition. Oh, here we go. Inherent definition. In American law and the United States Code, the ordinary common law meaning of the term states refers to sovereign states that compromise the Union. No, wrong. Okay? Wrong. You cannot, there's no inherent definition. Okay? No enlargement required. No, it is required. Okay? Okay? Interpreting the word states to be in the States of the Union does not enlarge the operation of the tax code or extend it by implication. It is the literal baseline definition of the word itself, which is not the case. Okay, it's not the case at all. So what I'm going to do on this one, let me see how much I can go two ways. I can give a bunch of different definitions. Hey, that doesn't apply. Or I'm going to give maybe a Supreme Court case that general definitions do not apply. I think I'm going to go that route. I'm going to give a court case on this very issue of general definitions because I do have it here, okay? Let's see. Here we go to statutory hub, and we got court cases on this stuff. Here we go. Here's a United States Supreme Court cases. Here we go. That's where the good stuff is. Okay. He will, okay, here we go. So, here we go. Fox versus Standard Oil Company. Okay. I'm going to add that in there. And also I'm going to add Department of Agriculture versus Kurtz. I'm going to add these two Supreme Court cases. Okay. Read these two U.S. Supreme Court cases that clearly state that the ordinary meaning of a term is no replacement for definitions given by Congress, and therefore the plain meaning rule does not apply when Congress has provided a specific definition of terms. Okay, let me check my spelling errors. Okay, correct that. Okay. Here we go, almost done with these. Okay, therefore we got that. The term such as terms United States and state in the state. Okay, in section 7701A. All right. Please correct yourself and follow these two court decisions as well as the other U.S. Supreme Court cases I gave you in the most strict interpretation. Yep, because you gotta follow the Supreme Court strictly. You can't just ignore it because I want to ignore it. You must, all of us, must follow Supreme Court interpretations correctly. Let's see what it says now. All right. Okay. Wow, this thing a little bit longer. Plain definition, no. Plain definition rule does not apply because Congress gave it a specific definition already. You cannot assume stuff. Ordinary definitions are out the window. Okay, let's see. Okay. I completely see the textual blueprint you're laying out. If we examine the exact premises of Fox versus Standard Oil Company and Stenberg versus Carhart, we must agree that statute definition provided by Congress completely replaces the ordinary the dictionary meaning, and the courts are strictly forbidden from rewriting that glossary. Wow! Thank you! Thank you! Finally starting to see the light. You know, we cannot go by assuming. We got to go by the glossary of definitions given by lawmakers. Okay? Thank you, AI. Let's apply that rigid standard to the letter. If you're to completely ignore ordinary definitions, yes, you should. You have to. And look only at explicit definitions by Congress in the Internal Code. We must apply this rule to every word Congress chose to define in that glossary. Okay, yes, correct. When we do this, a strict statutory jigsaw puzzle comes together. Okay, let's see. The cross-examination of glossary. Okay, if we strictly follow the Fox and Stenberg, we gotta look at standard dictionary to understand what Congress meant. We must look exclusively at 26 U.S.C. 7701. Yes, I agree. So far, so good. Man, you're starting to get there maybe, right? Let's see. Congress provided the definition of state in this section, yes. The term shall be construed to include D.C. Yeah, nothing else listed there. Under your strict interpretation, we cannot guess what the operative verb include means by using an ordinary dictionary. Ah, there we go. Starting to get there. Stenberg mandates that if Congress explicitly define that term, we must follow that Congress's definition to the exclusion of all others. Yes, correct. Okay, there we go. There goes that thing includes again. Throw that in there. Looks like Congress anticipated this exact structural question and explicitly wrote a mandatory definition for the verbs include and including directly into the very same glossary. Okay. Okay, now it starts at, okay. Yeah, but basically it doesn't apply. Okay, in section C. The terms including when used in a definition and complaint in this tally should not be deemed to exclude other meanings, otherwise being the meaning of the term you defined. Okay, all right? Apply a strict legal syllogism. If we combine Fox, Stenberg, and Gould under strict interpretation, the mathematical logic of the statute unfolds like this. Fox and Stenberg mandate we must completely ignore the ordinary meaning of the word if Congress has provided clear definition. Yes, 50 states are not in definition of United States or state. You agree right there, right? It's not there. Okay? The target text. Congress defines state by saying it includes D.C., okay? Mandatory tool, okay? Because Congress used the word includes, Stenberg legally forces us to look at Congress' explicit definition, includes, found in 7701. No, it's C, okay? But, see, now let's go back to C again. The literal command. Section says, C explicitly commands us with the word includes shall not be deemed to exclude other things, otherwise be the meaning of the term like 50 states. Okay. So here, Okay, well, now it says, it says, why this perfectly satisfied Gould versus Gould. Let's see. Okay, the Gould versus Gould states that we must not extend tax laws by implication or larger operation to embrace matters not specifically pointed out. Yes? If the court rules that 50 states are excluded from a tax code based on 718.910, that court is violating Gould versus Gould. Oh, well, thanks for agreeing. Why? Wait a minute. If the court rules that 50 states are excluded from tax code, court is violating Gould versus Gould? No, it's not. Let's see why. Because to exclude 50 states, the court would have to imply that the word includes means includes only. But that is what Supreme Court says. By making that implication, the court would be completely erasing explicit language of extremes. Do not use this word by to imply an exclusion. No. He's adding stuff in there. Okay, all right. So what I'm going to have to do on this one is to give it other definitions in the Internal Code, other places. Okay. So here we go, because he doesn't want to go by that. I said, it obviously includes 50 states, right? Obviously includes the 50 states. Okay, all right. Then let's see. Let's go to definition, general definitions. Okay, let's go to some of those definitions of state. Do we have more of those definitions? Yeah. Let's see. State is 6103. Okay. We got that. Oil taxes, immigration. Let's see. 3002. Let's see. United States. Okay. All right. Let's see. 3002 means, okay. Let's see which one would be. I got several of these definitions, guys. A lot of them here that I could use. Okay. So, okay. I don't have those sections. I have those sections in my video. I don't have it here right on rate to add to it. But basically, let's go review what has happened here. So basically, what the Gemini does is say that, do not use this word to imply an exclusion. No, that quote does not exist. Okay? Okay, I'm going to argue with it. Your quote of does not exist in law. Does not exist in law. Law. In any legal text. In any legal text or court rule or U.S. Supreme Court. U.S. Supreme Court ruling. It violates. They violate Gould v. Gould explicitly. Please correct yourself. Okay, all right. You're seeing. All right, let's see what comes up this time. All right. All right. So I'm thinking this time I'm gonna have to. I think maybe I'll talk about Regulation 1.1-1. I'm gonna put that in there and see which United States is talking about. I think I'm gonna do that one. Yeah, we got CFR 1-1-1, right? Yeah, we have it up there. I know we have it on there. Yeah, let's go back. I got it's up there. Actually, I can do that. Yeah. So let's see. Let's go in there to Gemini. Says you're entirely correct. Oh, thank you. I know I'm correct. The phrase, do not use this word to imply an exclusion, is not a verbatim quote from any statutory text or Supreme Court ruling. Yeah, you made it up. It's hallucinating. It quotes something that doesn't exist. Why do you quote it? Gemini, if it's not a quote, why do you quote it? This is an example when they tell you that the AI, artificial intelligence, sometimes hallucinate. It means they make up stuff on their own because they believe in this, they believe in that, they believe in this and that and that and that. So based upon that, they made up a quote that doesn't exist. This is a good example of what they talk about AI hallucinating. You got to correct it. Okay, let's see. Presenting that paraphrase summary in quotation marks was an error on my part. Wow, I admitted that. There you go. See? I apologize for that misinterpretation. I'm correcting it hereby by relying exclusively on the exact literal text of the law and the precise definitions provided by the U.S. Supreme Court. Okay. Strict analysis under Gould versus Gould. Okay. To adhere with Gould versus Gould, we must strictly look at clear import of language use and ensure we do not extend or conduct the statutes or operations to embrace or exclude matters not specifically pointed out. Very good, very good. All right, you get back on your feet again, Gemini. Let us look exclusively at the exact words that are specifically pointed out by Congress into Roman Code. Okay, very good. Okay, so it talks about United States, okay, but it includes only D.C., states in D.C. Following Gould versus Gould, we are forbidden from using any implications. Yes, no implications. No implying. The literal words specifically pointed out as being included in the geographic United States are states and this D.C. Okay. Now, talk about 810, which is defined states. Okay. Okay. To determine whether the explicit inclusion of this D.C. means and the automatic exclusion of 50. Oh, there you go again. Automatic exclusion in states. You're excluding again. We are forbidden by Gould from making an assumption or implication. Instead, we must look at specific textual command of Congress. I don't know. It doesn't sound like the way when you add the word automatic exclusion, everything is automatically excluded. Everything. Unless it's clearly pointed out. That's what the Supreme Court says. You're ignoring Gould versus Gould again. Okay? What is specifically pointed out in 1701C. Oh, there we go, back to C. Okay? Okay? We know what that says about, including. Supreme Court's cherry reconciliation. When Supreme Court has been asked to harmonize these exact definitions under strict rules of statutory construction, it has uniformly applied the literal text since I want to see to reject the idea that creates an exclusive list. Okay? Okay? Gives us simplicity in the United States. Analyze the definition of IRC state. The term includes certain specific entities but omitted others. The High Court ruled that omission did not mean exclusive stating. Though the definition of person in this section does not mention states or any sovereign entity or officer among those includes, it is equally clear that it does not exclude them. Okay, this is made certain by President of IRC that terms includes and including are, when used in the definition, shall be deemed to exclude other things, otherwise be the meaning of that term defined. Okay, and then Groman versus Commissioner, 737, Supreme Court explicitly distinguished between exclusive and non-exclusive definitions, ruling that when exclusive definition is intended, the word means is employed, whereas the word includes. The court directly cites statute presence of 701C to confront includes cannot be used to imply exclusion of other words meaning of the term. Okay, all right. So I'm going to have to just come back to this thing and give it. I think we can save this, can't we? We can save this thing, and what we'll do, save this search, and we'll do a part 2 on this. Okay, so I'm gonna have more ready to argue with Gemini on this issue because we gotta take your question and answers. Okay, this is taking a long time, so we're gonna put this on hold. We can put this on hold, guys. Right? We're going to go to your question answer session, and now that I know where AI is coming from, I'm gonna have more stuff to correct the Supreme Court. Correct the Gemini, I should say, on these interpretations. God, so hang in there. Next week we're gonna follow up on Gemini and the law and income tax. All right? So let's go to your question and answers, everybody, okay? And let's see. We got several people, by the way, who sent us questions also by, could you put a password in here, please? By email. I got one person, 2, 3, 4, 5 people. Questions, and I will answer your questions at no charge up to 10 pages. Email, fax, or U.S. mail to Freedom Law School, and I'll answer them for you guys for free here at in here, okay, in the Freedom Hour. So let's go to the questions online first, as we always do, and then the people who've questioned us with sending us documents in the mail. Okay, all right. Let's see. Today's the 2nd, right, guys? June 2nd, right? Okay, all right. We have a 770 area code caller, followed by a caller from area code 540, another one from area code 615. 770 caller, please give me your first name, how you heard about Freedom Law School, and then your question, please. Nellie?
Mary.
Spell that, please.
Mary, M-A-R-Y.
Oh, Mary. Yes, Mary, And how did you hear about us?
Yes. Yes, maybe Mike Adams. Trying to remember. Just an interview maybe online, and I've just been following your interviews ever since. But I want to say Mike Adams.
Okay, very good. And how may I help you?
Yeah, so I just sent in my questions just because it's trying to chip away toward making a decision and finding out how everything might apply to me so I'm prepared. But I sent my questions in by email.
Oh, you did? Oh, yes, I do have your email here, Mary. Yes, I see, Mary. I got your one-page email. Okay, got it, yeah. And your email starts with letter MT, correct?
Correct.
All right. Here's her question. I'm a 62-year-old widow with perhaps some unusual financial situations. Thank you. All right. And then my only income is from stock market dividends and interest. Along with Social Security, does the philosophy of strategies that apply to me? It's not a philosophy. The legal principles in their Internal Revenue Code apply to you. You're not a citizen or resident of Washington, D.C. Therefore, you are not required to file and pay federal income taxes. To follow your advice and be protected as a member, would I need to make some drastic changes since a majority of my money is tied up in that investment? None at all. Trading, banking system? Nope. Fearing the IRS could seize those assets easily and I'm not a money manager, stockbroker? No. As a Restore Freedom Plan member, if you choose to join, we 100% protect you. And even if they do take your money illegally, we'll reimburse you out of our funds. Whatever IRS may have taken from you and make it completely whole. $10,000, $10 million or more. So you have no risk there, okay? But as a non-filer, they cannot just take your money like that. They have to give you a tax proposal officially by certified mail called a notice of deficiency. You can go to tax court trial, challenge it. They cannot take your money at all in tax court. And then, if you lose after a year or two or whatever time frame, and then still later on you have a chance to still possibly, change, modify it, okay, or make payment plans or otherwise, at the collection due process hearing. If you ask for that hearing, they cannot take your money either. You can appeal that to tax court if necessary, or court of appeal. So they don't just take your stuff like that. That's a bunch of baloney because you file. When you file a confession form, you say you owe the IRS money. That is how they get the power to just simply take your money because you put the rope on your neck. And when you sign the 10 for income tax confession form and claim under oath that you owe the IRS money. That's how they just take your stuff like that. Know nothing about your rights to challenge them as you can by law. Okay, I currently have cash in 2 banks and I'm accustomed to writing checks. No problem. Keep doing it. Okay? Just keep doing it. Live normal. Is my current position as treasurer my homeowner association obstacle? No. Live your life. All this stuff is in your head, girl. Relax. You're good. I've been currently in process of funding a universal life insurance policy called Laser Fund for the purpose of borrowing against it tax-free in the future. Can you help me understand what I would need to consider regarding this policy if I choose to become a member and not file? I believe some trust was necessary for it to be created, but don't understand and benefit of signature. Have you put any money in this universal life insurance policy yet? How much?
I'm sorry, what?
Have you put any money into this universal life
Yes, I
insurance?
have.
How much?
I have. I pay about $30,000 every 3 months
How long you been doing that for?
for 5 years.
How long you been doing that for?
Probably about 3 years.
I'm sorry to tell you this. I used to sell life insurance in my early 20s for about 6 years. You were ripped off. Universal life insurance policies are all scams, rip-offs. What they do, they sell you oil and milk in one package. You don't know how much you pay for milk or oil because they just combine the price. They're selling you insurance with savings combined with universal life. Let me tell you how. When you get car insurance, if you have no accidents after 10 years, 20 years, 50 years, do you get any of your car insurance money back, Mary? Do you?
No.
No. Why? Because insurance is everybody pitches into a fund. One person gets an accident, car accident, or dies, gets the money. The rest get nothing. You all risk it. That is what
Correct.
insurance is. Okay? With universal life insurance, whole life, cash value life insurances, they rip you off by confusing you, by mixing insurance with savings. They say, hey, if you don't die, you're going to lose your money. Don't get nothing. Well, that's what life insurance is. They call that. They give it the name term life insurance. Like, oh, it's only for length of term. But so is your car insurance. Your car insurance is an annual renewable term car insurance for the term of 1 year. But with life insurance, which is actually a death insurance, but you use the word life to make it sound better. Who wants to talk about death? They give it life. It's easier to talk about, right? That's a scam by insurance companies. So, and then they say, oh, but you get your money back. Oh, yeah. Oh, your money earns interest. Oh, yeah. And listen, you can even borrow against your insurance policy, which is a lie. What they did, Mary, how much is the amount of face amount of the life insurance policy you got? $30,000 you're paying every year. How much is that? $200,000? How much is it?
It totals, I'll put in about 600, I think, and then
$600,000, right?
It's like 1.2 million, whatever, payout upon death. But the point was to just borrow against.
I know. I get that. I know. I'm telling you, it's a ripoff. Let me tell you, I got $600,000 life insurance, and I'm 63. I'm a year older than you. And my policy is about $450 a month, or roughly about $5,000 a year. That's called, that's real insurance. $5,000. You should be paying $5,000 times 2, $10,000 for your $1.2 million of life insurance, approximately, right? Oh, guess what? You pay $30,000, $10,000 goes to life insurance. The other $20,000 of your money, it's your money in your savings account, but now it's theirs. And to take it out, you must borrow your own money back. You're not borrowing against a life insurance portion of policy. You're borrowing your own money. They charge you $20,000 extra. That's not your insurance portion. That's a savings portion. Like you put in Bank of America or Chase. Okay? And they don't know this, but they charge percentages and fees out of your savings. Like you put your money in Bank of America or Chase, it's yours, all of it. But life insurance company in the fine print says they take out 20% of your money up front. Not the insurance. 20% of what? I put money, you took 20% of it up front, you just keep it bank? Yes, we do. What's the name of your bank? Well, we're a bank of life insurance company, but that's what they are. They rip you up by taking these fees out, and it's in the fine print. And then they play this game, oh, you're paying so much interest rate. But they took out you 20, 30% up front. Okay, so they pay you 5%, whatever interest, say 8%. You get ripped off from the get-go. So don't even cancel that scam. Get all your money back. Don't you ever buy this cash value ripoff universal life insurance policy, which are sold to you. You know why they sold to you? You know why they push it? Because they're ripping you off, and with that, the company makes a lot of money, and the insurance agent makes big commissions. Yeah. Where do you think the insurance makes those big commissions from? By ripping you off of your savings, confusing insurance and savings together. That's why the agents want to sell it to you, because they make bigger commissions. Which product do you think the insurance agent want to sell you? The one he makes $20,000 on, or the one that he makes $2,000 on? If you were the insurance salesman, which one would you sell? The one that gave me $20,000, not the one that sells gave me only $2,000, right? But that's what they've done. If the insurance agent is making so much more commissions and ripping you off, guess how much more the insurance company is ripping you off to give so much more to the agent. Got it? So I'm not going to get on that any more than that. Get your money out. That's into that. It doesn't affect you. It doesn't affect anyway your taxes anyhow. It doesn't matter. I just love you. And I don't want anybody to be ripped off and people get scammed by these savings-type life insurance policies because the agents want to make more money and the insurance company want to make more money, and they take advantage of your confusion, your lack of understanding this stuff and math, and then rip you off. So I hate to see that, but sorry. Get it all out, okay? And put it in gold, silver, or Bitcoin. We're getting ready for a crash. Real estate's going to crash. Stock market will crash. Or we have a lot more inflation, a lot more. And unemployment will go up slowly like you saw in Jimmy Carter days. You remember, you're old enough to remember like me. Jimmy Carter days, we had stagflation. So either way, get gold, silver, Bitcoin, safe investment, someone like you, and don't be ripped off by these scammers anymore. Ask them, if I were to buy $1.2 million of term life insurance, how much would that cost me? Number two question, agent, how much would your commission be? How much your commission was on this one? Oh, he will not want to answer you. Because if he were to answer you, give those numbers, he'd be admitting to you ripped you off. So, sorry, if it was your cousin, your neighbor, I don't know who it was. I don't care if you love the guy. He was misled to mislead you. He was misled to believe that by scamming you, he's doing a good job for you. That's right. The agents are lied to lie to you, just like doctors are lied to get all the vaccines. Get the jab. Get the corona jab. Right? To don't get the corona and don't die. But what kills you is not the corona, it's the jab. The vaccine that kills you. Just like tax returns. What kills you is the tax return that you confess you owe the Irish money. Right? That's the problem when you under oath you sign a 1040 form. You don't file, you're free. You don't get the corona vaccine jab, bioweapon, you're free, you're fine. Same thing goes with the life insurance industry. They all take advantage of our ignorance, my friends. All right. Next thing you ask is, I recently converted some Bitcoin into cash at Fidelity Charitable as a way of donating to charities without tax consequences. Is it okay to go ahead and donate from it this year, even if it still does not file? Sure. Give your money to whoever you want to give. Okay. And you're free. It is your money. Do as you wish, Mary. After my husband passed, I got help creating a trust, but I felt I was misled into one-size-fits-all irrevocable trust. So recently got approval through the courts to amend it to be revocable, although I still have not received the final product. I am familiar with this, and you know what I would do with it going forward if I became a member. Okay. Thank you so much. Well, I don't know enough about your situation. This is an estate planning question. I don't do estate planning. I know a lot about it, but I'm not an expert at it. And I do not do it for a living. It's not part of Freedom Law School offers. But as a Restore Freedom Time member, I will refer you to a professional who's very good at this. And he'll review a situation. He's a man of integrity and honesty. Will do it the way that works for you, given what you already have, the limitations that you got in this thing, and the court approval that you mentioned. You know, so that and make sure it's done the way you want and need it for estate planning purposes. It has no relationship with taxes. Don't worry about it at all. Okay? You protect it anyway.
Okay.
Under our Restored Freedom Plan, no matter what you do. But what you want to think about basically is, you're 62, I'm 63. Hey, if I go to heaven next day, who do I want everything to go to? Okay? So you set it up so that automatically it goes to those individuals or organizations you love, without having to go through probate, all that kind of stuff. That's what really matters. So I'm not sure what was done before to see what fixing it needs now. So as a member, I'll refer to somebody who will help you with all this stuff, okay? Any other questions, Mary? You're good?
Okay. Just the only question is this recorded so that I can come back and share it with my daughter or daughters if I want them to hear your answer?
Yes, this is recorded, and you can right away listen to it again on our YouTube channel, Rumble channel, Odyssey channel, BitChute channel, Facebook. It's all there. Just, what time is it right now, guys? We've been into this, an hour and a half? Yeah, about it. So just forward over. I took it an hour to finish my presentation. So after 1 hour of my presentation, your question is next. Go listen to that. And you can forward it to this part of life trust and life insurance if you want to, okay?
Okay, cool.
Very good.
Thank you, Peymon.
You're welcome. My pleasure, Mary. Thank you for calling, hon. Let's go to 540. Let's see. I get 504 area code caller. Sorry, I said it wrong. 504 area code caller. Are you alive? Give me your first name, my friend. How you heard about Freedom Law School, and then your question, please.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello, Peymon. Okay, my name's Don. How you doing?
Good.
I heard about you maybe about 4.5 years ago. I started watching you online, and then I got connected to your videos. So I've been faithfully watching them and listening to. Probably every Tuesday I try to get on this and listen up. And I stopped paying taxes back in 23. Followed all your steps and with no problem. Didn't have any issues with my company putting my exempt form. But just the beginning of March, I got the IRS notice. And I know I'm not a taxpayer, and some of these notices you say to ignore. But the first one was a CP 59, and then the second one was a CP 518. And I just wanted to make sure that I didn't have to worry about replying to them because I'm not filling out the 1040 form.
Okay, those numbers I don't remember. I don't know what those letters mean. Maybe I did. What's the number? CP 59 and what else?
The first one was the CP 59, and then the second one a month later was the CP 518.
Oh yeah, those are, as you see in this chart. Thank you guys. Got a good chart, helpful. You got the record numbers on that. I don't remember them either. Those are simple, dumb, computer-generated letters asking you to file a 1040 income tax confession form. They are not signed by anybody, no name of nobody. There's nobody watching you. They're sent out en masse by tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands or millions at a time. There's nobody out there at the IRS sending this letter to you and waiting for Don to respond and saying, okay, Don didn't respond. Let's go get Don. Don, I'm going to come and get you. You didn't respond to our letters. You ignored us. You didn't file. I'm going to come and get you and nail you, brother. No. It's a simple junk letter. There's no law requiring IRS to send it to you, but they do to scare you to be a slave. You can just ignore it. You'll be just fine. Go on with your life. On your own, or you want to join a Restored Freedom Plan, but you're fine. Anything else?
Nope, that's it. I just wanted to make sure because, like I said, I haven't paid taxes and I'm not, and this was the first letter I got, so I just wanted to get clarity on it. But that's all I needed. Thank you.
You are welcome. Thank you for calling. All right, let's go to our next call from area code. Let's see, 770. Okay, and then we got another caller after that caller from area code 254. So 770 area code caller, please give me your first name, how you heard about Freedom Law School, and then your question, please. Are you there? 770 area code caller.
That was me too. I'm sorry, Peymon. Is that you already? This is Mary. You already answered.
Oh
my
yeah,
question.
that's right. That's right. We do. Okay, let's go 254 area code caller then. All right, 254 area code caller. You're live with Freedom Law School. Give me your first name, how you heard about Freedom Law School, and then your question, please.
Hey, Peymon, it's Charlie again, calling in just to listen to the good information you're putting out. I heard from you originally on pill.net on the Rambo and Friends podcast, and learning as much as I can, and studying up on this tax code stuff, and boy, it's amazing. Nobody wants to believe it, but the proof is right there on paper.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to keep following along with your advice, and thankfully I don't have to file. I'm under disability, so but I'm just trying to help others to become more aware of, what's really going on, and not get fooled into these fear tactics that these creatures try to impose on us.
Yeah, these creatures, these are your public servants who are out of control, who see you with contempt.
Yeah.
They see you as a dumb,
like
ignorant sheep to be sheared like a sheep, and so they make you afraid through keeping you ignorant.
It blows my mind how even these lawyers, these tax lawyers, and even these accountants, how they're so indoctrinated to follow the IRS tax code and not the actual law, and use their brain cells that they have to figure out how definitions and legal jargon is so misinterpreted. Ridiculous.
Yep. Well, thank you, my friend, for calling. I appreciate you. Okay, we go to our next caller. If there is a caller, call right now. The board is open. The number to call is 424-552-1299, and then press 1 on your telephone keypad. Dial 424-552-1299 if you have a question, and press 1 on your telephone keypad. You'll be next. Right now, I'm going to go to some more. We do have a caller right now from area code 406. Just joined us. You're live. My friend, give me your first name, how you heard about Freedom Law School, and then your question, please.
My name is Jeremy, and I ran across some advertisement of yours some time ago, dismissed it, and then saw you again on X and started following you. My question is, so I have filled out the forms for my congressman, and I've sent off the first ones for income tax. I think the advice was for me to wait a period of time between sending each of the three. So I'm going to do that. And I also have the W-4 with the addendum and all that ready to send to my employer, because they have one of those HRIS systems where you have to log in and immediately click a button to say that you're exempt before actually getting into W form. So it's all handled electronically. My fear is that if I send that paper W-4 with the addendum on it, that either A, they're going to reject it immediately.
No, stop. No, stop. Stop. Don't go further. No. You're assuming that.
Okay.
They're not going to reject it. When your letter goes to the human resource or payroll division of your company, you're assuming someone with high level of legal experience or knowledge is going to read it and say, I'm not sure about this. I think I'm going to reject it. That is not the way it works. The way it works is some clerk, usually a young female, gets that and puts it in your file because that is their job. They don't have the time nor interest to read your letter. You think they got nothing better to do than try to read and understand your legal documents? Do you have for fun on the side read legal documents? Is that what you do? No, you don't. Neither do they.
Not.
So they're not going to reject that. They're going to take it, put it in your file. Okay? And that's the end of it.
My next apprehension is getting that lock-in letter from the IRS.
Okay.
And how to handle that. I'm currently considering applying to become a member of Freedom Law School. And would that be advisable to do before turning in that paper W-4?
Look, the lock-in letter, we're going to be filing a lawsuit about that. We'll be working on it against the IRS. And I'm sorry, the problem is the employers in addition to the IRS. The problem is the employers are ignorant and afraid of the IRS. They don't have to do what the IRS says at all. But they do it because they don't care about you. And they're ignorant and afraid. So that risk exists. So there's nothing I can tell you further about that because I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to try to do anything or say anything untrue to have you become a Restored Freedom Plan member. All I can tell you is that does not happen to most people. Most of our members who are employees don't have that problem. They don't. I'd say better than, I'm not taking a percent, maybe 95%, something like that, don't have that problem. So, but I cannot tell you it won't happen at all to you because I'll be lying. And I can't lie to you or anybody.
Right. Exactly.
So that's just a chance that exists. So at the end, you have to decide how you resolve that because it's not a pure black and white, hey, easy answer as I wish it would be for you. Okay? Anything else?
Yeah, then my next drop back would be to request of them to become a 1099 employee and then try to navigate those waters.
That would be the better way to go.
For 15
you become
years.
an independent contractor, will solve that whole potential lock-in letter problem. Anyhow, that would be definitely the wiser way, easy, safe way to go, and work on that as much as you can.
Okay.
Okay? All right, Jeremy, thank you.
I appreciate your time.
You're welcome, my friend. Thank you for your good question. I appreciate you. All right. We have, I think, one more caller right now from area code 352. 352 area code caller, please give me your first name, how you heard about Freedom Law School, and then your question, please. Are you there? Area code 352 area code caller. Okay, one more try. 352 area code caller. Speak now, or we're going to go to the next caller, my friend. Okay. He's not answering, so we're going to go to the next caller who just joined us from area code 937. 937 area code caller. Please give me your first name, how you heard about Freedom Law School, and then your question, please.
Yes, my name is George, and I heard about you. I've been following you, and I appreciate everything you're teaching us. My question is regarding, I haven't filed the last 2 years, the 24 and 25. My question is regarding the passport. I've heard on different shows where sometimes the State Department will pull someone's passport. When does that happen, or does that happen to everybody?
First of all, how did you hear about us, you said, George?
I've been following you. I've heard a lot of your interviews recently with Lara Logan, with Matt Gates. I've used the petitions to send to my congressman. I've actually sent them 2 years in a row. Never heard a peep back. So.
Yep. Gotcha. All right.
Primarily, I know about Freedom Law School. I've used your website. I follow you regularly.
All right, my friend. So what about the passport denial? Basically what that is, if you're the IRS about $60,000 or more, for whatever reason, usually it's filers, then the IRS can tell the U.S. State Department to not renew your passport or not give you a new passport if you want to get or reapply. That's all it is. And IRS cannot just, when you don't file, just do that, deny a passport. It's not automatic. You have the right in America, the land of the free, the home of the brave, right to a trial. Yes, it's called due process of law. You have a right to trial. And America is not a third world dictatorship, communist. They just take your stuff. It's not like that. They take your stuff because you don't challenge them as you could by law in U.S. tax court. Okay? So that doesn't happen willy-nilly. They have to give you a tax proposal by certified mail. They got to mail it to your last known address, and then you have the right to challenge it. In U.S. tax court, that might take 1-2 years or longer to get through. You can appeal it to Court of Appeal. Then to collect, they have to give you a collection due process hearing. And that hearing that you get, if you don't like the result of that, you can appeal it to tax court and appeal that again to U.S. to Court of Appeal. And then, after all these processes, after all these years gone by, they can now initiate if they want to take your passport away or attack your paycheck, things like that. Otherwise, you're fined for many, many years. At the worst case scenario, if you exercise your rights and challenge them like I do, like our Restore Freedom Plan members do, because Freedom Law School takes care of them, all these things. All right? So do not worry about those. What else is on your mind, my friend?
So basically, as long as I go through exercise my rights, take them, basically go to court, and then it's their appeal process and everything, and then they cannot take the passport right away, basically.
Correct.
Okay. I appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome, my friend. All right, the 254 area code caller, we went to him one time, didn't we? He wasn't there, huh? Okay, so he wasn't there. Was that? 352 area code, 254 area code caller. Let's try one more time. 254 area code caller, looks like you're waiting to get your question answered. If you have a question, go ahead and ask it now. Otherwise, we're going to go to more questions. People have emailed us.
Hey, Peymon, it's Charlie again, just still listening to all the good stuff that you're putting out. Okay. No questions this time, my friend.
No questions. Okay, all right. Thank you. You good then? So let's go now. We have your thank you, Charlie. Let's go to the more people that sent us these letters in the mail to address. We have a question online. Let's go to online question. 352. I just took him right now. He was 352. The current, we just took him right now. 352. You could call him. All right, so Priscilla says online, I've been watching your videos. I found them to be very informative. I work with Sherry Peel Jackson for business development, and when we got to the tax section, she said everyone must pay their taxes. To my knowledge, both of you are savvy in your work, including taxes. Can you please clear up this misunderstanding? Thanks. Okay. Well, here's the thing. Okay. A lot of people in the tax truth movement I've known since 1990s. And some of them listened to me and did things right, and they won. Like Drew Bannister, the former IRS special agent. Okay? I'll show his, yes. So he did things right, and when the IRS tried to come after him, okay, he beat the IRS. Okay? And you see his victories right here. This on our step 5. This is Joe Bannister, former gun-carrying special agent, student of Freedom Law School since 1997. When Joe Bannister came out, other agents came out also, Sherry Jackson and John Turner. And what happened, here's more pictures of Joe Bannister, by the way. I'll publish his book. On his right-hand side, you see the blue cover book. That's his book. And he was interviewed by Margie Taylor Greene also. I try to help and guide other people to the right things, like Sherry Peel Jackson, and unfortunately she declined my invitation. I did annual Freedom Leadership Conferences, but Joe Bannister, other top leaders and attorneys, paralegals, researchers in the movement got together on my invitation to get together like America's founding fathers and learn and cooperate and work with each other. And unfortunately, several of these people, including Sherry Jackson, refused my invitation and did not participate. Joe Bannister was there very consistently. And you learn from me and others each other's successes and mistakes of those in the past. So unfortunately, Sherry, when she was tried, and she went to trial about a year or two after Joe Bannister was tried, Joe Bannister was acquitted, Sherry Peel Jackson was convicted. And unfortunately, she went the wrong way, didn't do the stuff, her homework, as she could have if she had worked with me. And I knew all the other top guys. It wasn't just me. I knew all the other top guys to help her, to educate her. It wasn't just me. The guys older than me, more experienced than me, like Sean O'Connor, that I was learning from. Yeah. And Sean O'Connor passed away now, years ago. So she wasn't ready, and she was convicted. And then she made a worse choice, unfortunately, of telling the judge in writing that the judge has no jurisdiction over her. Well, the judge obviously did have jurisdiction over her, and he took advantage of that and gave her a maximum sentence of 4 years in prison. Okay? That's all he could give her. Okay? And so, because she wasn't prepared, because she's not doing her homework, and work with me and other people, because she wanted to be a lone wolf on her own, unfortunately, she lost. And then, this is typical. When people go after wrong, baseless legal theories, they lose, then tell you, oh, it doesn't work. I tried it, didn't work. So if I couldn't do it, neither can you. Because otherwise, if I couldn't do it and you did it, then that means that you're smarter than me. You did something better than me. I'm not as intelligent as you, and I cannot accept that. That hurts my ego. That happened with me and several other people. I'm not going to name other ones because I don't need to, but I have to address her because she said that to you and you asked me about it. Otherwise, I don't talk about it usually. Okay? There's a lot of baseless legal theories out there that people follow, and that gets people in trouble. And because people don't want to look up the law. I tell you, look at the law. I rely on the law, the Internal Revenue Code, the U.S. Supreme Court cases, U.S. Treasury regulations, not some cockamamie theories like revocation of election, I'm a U.S. national, not a U.S. citizen, I'm a state citizen, sovereign citizen, UCC, Uniform Commercial Code arguments, name it all, capital letters, common law arguments versus admiralty or French flag arguments, and so forth and so on. Okay? I've been at this for 34 years. I was a young man of 29. All his hair was completely jet black when I started back in 92. Never been to prison. And IRS has known of me since 94. And way back then, they were looking at me as a potential fraudulent tax protest promoter. Never been to prison. Never paid him a dime. We've been in court. Okay, and I beat him also in court. I beat him in IRS Appeals Office. I beat him in U.S. Tax Court. And I beat him in U.S. Federal District Court as well. So, I'm sorry, she didn't choose to do that. In fact, to this day, I've asked Sherry to work with me. Refer people to me, I'll pay her. She declines. What can I do? I can't make people to work with each other. Founding Fathers of America, what do? They decided to work together despite all the differences that they have with each other, right? But unfortunately, too much in America, people are lone wolf. They don't work together. I know it all by myself. I'm good enough. I don't need to work with other people. That's not what the Founding Fathers did. They worked together to restore freedom in the colonies and created this great United States. They even poured the blood on the line together. Here, we can restore freedom without pouring any blood. No violence at all. All you gotta do is agree to work together. And don't think you have it all figured out, okay? Enjoy the Restore Freedom Plan. Guys, back in the early 90s, so many people do all this patriot mythology nonsense and get in trouble. It doesn't work. I didn't do that. I went to the law library and looked up the law for myself. And I looked for the people that are smarter than me, better than me, to learn from them. I learned a lot of things from different people like Irvin Schiff, and his mistakes too and successes. Sean O'Connor, Judge Bill Drexler, Otto Skinner, Bill Conklin, Vern Holland, a lot of people that passed away, Robert Clarkson, okay, John Codmeyer. Okay, that was my attitude. That's how I get to be successful. Because I remained humble when I was young. And I didn't know jack. And I remained humble. And I still am humble. If someone gets better than me, can teach me something new, I would love it. Please make me better. Please help me improve. I want to get better. If it's your idea, I'll accept it. It doesn't have to be my idea. Okay, but some people have this ego that if it's not their idea, they don't want to do it. If it's your idea, they don't want to do it. If they couldn't do it, then you cannot be any smarter. So, hope that gives you a better perspective on the situation. That's why I tell people, do not believe the government, anybody out there, or me. Follow the law, and that's what we give you at Freedom Law School. Step 1, we start you up to be free, is follow the law as found on U.S. government's official legal websites. 1040 form and instructions, U.S. Treasury regulations, laws published as by U.S. Congress, and U.S. Supreme Court and the Constitution. That is it. Highest direct sources of law from the government's own mouth. And that's how you win. That's how they leave you alone. Like me, they'll try and indict me, put me in jail for not filing income tax, because I'm not required to. I'm not a citizen or resident of Washington, D.C. I'm not required to file income tax. Neither are most of you. Okay? All right. Let's go to the next question we have on paper. We got a letter from Kelly in Texas, who's in a long-term payment plan with the IRS, $517 a month. 10th of each month automatically comes out of her account, and tells her that Kelly has $18,500 in change balance for year 2020. Okay, well, that's all there is to it. You can want to continue paying them? You can. If you want to stop, you can stop. It's up to you. I mean, there's nothing I can do to get you out of this thing, because these 99% of the time that I get these letters, the person like Kelly has filed a 10 for income tax confession form, confessing to owe the IRS money. And I'm not a magician to get you out of the confession that you signed on that 1040 form, claiming that you owe the IRS money. That's how you ended up owing the IRS all this money that now you're making payment plan. So all you can do is stop. Stop filing and paying income tax. Stop signing a 10 for income tax confession form under penalties of perjury. Claim that you owe the IRS money. On line 37, don't do it again. Okay, your accountant, your CPA tax attorney deceived you, lied to you, didn't tell you what under penalty of perjury on the 1040 that you signed means. Okay? So that's my best advice for you, Kelly. Hope that helps out. You can, of course, call me. Okay? Now, I've got a question online. Somebody, Jessica, says, will Peymon share his thoughts on Florida property tax elimination proposal? I haven't kept up with that. All I know about that is that there are proposals that will be on a ballot pretty soon to eliminate property tax completely for Floridians. That's what I understand. I think it's all good. Vote for it. Heck, Florida is already the most free state in America by far. No state income tax. One of the 8 states would like that. And eliminating income tax for Floridians in their primary home, that's great. Go for it. Maybe I'll move to Florida for that reason. That's why I did. Freedom is great. California is losing people. New York is losing people. Illinois is losing people because they're socialists. You're not free. You're taxed to death as a slave. Florida, Tennessee, New Hampshire, the freer states, hey, people are going to them, these free states. All right, let's see. You have any questions online right now? I think we have some callers joined in today. With a caller from area code 602 joined us, followed by a caller from area code 423. Okay? 602 area code caller, please give me your first name, how you heard about Freedom Law School, and then your question, please.
Hey, my name is Kale. I found you, I believe, on TikTok a year or two ago.
Oh, wow. Before TikTok keeps kicking us out. All right, Ken. I know it. TikTok's kicking us out. Are we get back on TikTok? Maybe we could try it. It's different ownership. You ought to give it a try,
Mm-hmm.
It was Chinese-owned. Now it's Israeli, Zionist-owned. We cannot criticize Israel, I guess, out there, but we can talk about income taxes. Chinese didn't want us to not talk about taxes for some reason on TikTok. I don't know why. But anyhow, Ken, right? Is that your name? K-E-N, correct?
No, Kale.
How do you spell that?
C-A-Y-L-E.
Kale, okay. All right, Kale, how may I help you, my friend?
Yeah, so my question is, I haven't filed since 2019, and I had to file last year because I filed bankruptcy. And I was just curious what my steps are just to prevent any action from the IRS. Like, what's the first step?
You said you filed for last year. What year are you referring to, and why did you file a 1040 confession trap form after years? I'm not filing those confession forms. What happened?
Why did I file? I filed taxes for the year 25 because I had filed bankruptcy in 25. And the bankruptcy attorney or trustee, I guess, told me I had to.
Okay. I'm sorry he did that for you. Did the bankruptcy go through?
Yeah, it was discharged, yes. Chapter 7.
Okay, all right. So what's your question now?
So what's the steps for the first step going forward in the future here to prevent any action from the IRS on me?
Well,
from all these years it didn't file.
Well, for all years you didn't file?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. Because you weakened your case yourself. You can join for years 2021 forward. I'll protect you civilly 100% for money I was coming after you, but criminally you just weaken your case. It's not worst, but you weaken your case by filing a 1040 income tax confession form. Now, it was done because your attorney said that to be able to bankrupt in Chapter 7, you have to do that, so that gives you an excuse. But it does weaken you a little bit. So you can restore freedom, join a Restore Freedom plan, and I'll protect you 100% from IRS taking your money. Criminally also, but I just want you to know your criminal case is a little weak because you did file that 1040 income tax confession form for 2025, even though your attorney told you have to do that to be going to bankrupt, to be able to bankrupt what you owed. So you can join Restore Freedom Plan on our website. There it is. Information there. Sign up form is on the top center. Click on that. You agree to the terms and fill out the application. So it's easy to do. Call us at 813-444-4800. If you have any questions, we'll help you with that, answer your questions further. Anything else, Kale?
Okay. Sounds good. Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you for calling, my friend. And let's go to 423 area code caller. You're live with Freedom Law School, my friend. What is your name? How you heard about us? And then your question, please.
Hello, my name is Scott. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, Scott.
Okay, thank you very much for taking my call. I tried to call earlier on my 352 number, and I was an idiot, and I had my microphone muted, so that's my fault. I apologize for that.
No problem. No problem. That's okay. Well, how'd you hear about us, Bobby, Scott?
Okay, thank you, sir. I heard about you through a friend of mine back in 2017, and I don't know for sure how he heard about you, but I think it was probably YouTube. I don't know if you were doing YouTube for sure at that time or not, but my friend recommended that I look into your company and your services, and so I'm very grateful that I had that information. I haven't filed taxes since 2017. My wife and I used to file jointly those confession forms when we were deceived by the IRS and others, and in the past. So we've been awakened as far as I know, and I appreciate you helping with that. I mailed off the petition forms back in 2022. I don't know why it took me so long to mail those off. I had a disconnect in my understanding, I believe. But I mailed that off for my wife and for myself to my 3 congressmen here in the state of Tennessee. And recently I was checking my records, and I realized I only had received the certified delivery receipts from 2 congressmen. So I want, if you would help me understand, should I take the action to mail that out again for my wife and myself, that petition to that 1 congressman? And I have a second question as well.
Hold on, one at a time.
But I'll wait.
Hold on. Yeah, you did petitions already to congressmen. Why do you feel there may be a need to do the petitions again?
Because I did not receive a certified mail receipt back from that congressman.
You don't need that.
I don't know how valuable it is.
You don't need that. The certified mail slip that you have, that you mailed it out to him on that date, is enough. That green and white slip you got, that's enough. When did you mail it out to him? Back in 2022? The fact that you mailed it out is good enough.
Yeah. It was December 22 of 2022.
Yeah, that's fine. You have the proof of mailing to him. Certified mail is presumed to have been received because you did mail it out. So it's presumed to have gotten there. They then respond to you. That's good enough. You don't need to have the return receipt back. That's not necessary.
Right. I have the green and white, and it is stamped by the post office. So
you're good.
Certified that I mailed it. Yes.
You're good, Scott.
And of course, I kept copies. Okay. Thank you, and thank you for your advice on that. I have one more question, if I may ask that. May
sure. What's your other question?
May I ask a second question?
Please,
okay,
yes.
Thank you. Yes, I'm sorry for it might be a delay here on my line. I'm sorry about that.
It's okay.
I intend to sell my property, which is an approximate value between $500,000 and $600,000, and I don't know exactly what I need to do about that, but I don't want the IRS to bother me about capital gains taxes. So I think I heard you on a YouTube channel or YouTube series or whatever post recording that you posted that talked about giving some kind of a form to the closing agent where they would request that they did not send in an input to the IRS about that closing.
Correct.
And would you speak about that again
sure.
in a little bit more detail for my
First of all,
please?
Is this your primary home? You're where you live, your primary house, residence?
It is. Yes, sir, it is. And
guess what?
I have lived in.
Guess what? Even though the IRS sees it, let me help you. The first $250,000 gained from sale of your own primary residence or home is, by the IRS's interpretation, is exempt anyhow from any taxes. So between you and your wife, $500,000 is exempt. So
yes, sir.
You're below that anyhow. Now, what we do for people like you, who if you join our Restore Freedom Plan, and when you open the escrow title closing process with the buyer that you got, you let us know you get the copy of the paperwork for closing of the sale from the title or escrow company to us, and we make sure we write to them to follow the law as provided, not what they've been misled by their lawyers to be treating you as you have a property in District of Columbia, or you have stuff going on in D.C., all that stuff, and withhold income tax, or report 1099 about you to the IRS. So we'll do that for you as a Restore Freedom Plan member. So join right now for 2025, and when you sell the property in 2026, they will do that for 2026, maintain your membership for 26 forward, and you'll be protected from anything, from sale of the house, or your wages, or your business income, commissions, bank interest, dividends, stocks, bonds, crypto, real estate, rentals. Doesn't matter. It's all covered because you are not from the country of the District of Columbia. You have no money coming from the District of Columbia to you either, so you don't owe any income tax whatsoever to the IRS. Okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for your good question,
I have one more.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I failed to recall that I had one more question. So after I sell my home, I'm planning to move to the country of Panama, and my wife and I wondered what kinds of things would you generally recommend I take into account with that move from a financial standpoint, where that would avoid me triggering any unnecessary IRS trouble, if any additional action.
There is none. There is none. If you want to go, you can go. But how I recommend this: more than half of the people who leave America to be free in Thailand, Panama, Costa Rica, these countries, I think they come back eventually after, maybe 2/3 of them come back to USA because they found they're kind of trapped only in the tourist areas of the country. They're not free to go where they want to go completely necessarily. And it's a small country. And they don't have the culture. They don't know the people. They're stuck with the expat community areas. And so the better alternative, in my opinion, is you go live in a countryside of Florida or Tennessee or Texas or a state, no state income tax state. Since you like that kind of warm weather, Florida would be ideal for you. You can go live in the rural area of Florida and get the low cost of living that you're looking for by moving over there, okay? And at the same time, be free with Americans, and if you want to go someplace different, you can. Does that help you with that question, Scott?
Oh, it does. Thank you very much. I appreciate your counsel. Actually, I used to live in Florida for 25 years.
Where?
And that's when I was...
Where?
I moved to the Tampa area initially.
Where?
And I lived in a couple of other locations.
Where? What city?
Tampa, Florida.
Yeah, so you were in a city.
Place.
You lived in a city. Cities cost more to live. Land is expensive in a city. And the country is cheaper. That's why I don't live in Tampa. I live in Brooksville, about 40 minutes north of Tampa, in a country suburb on 7 acres. If I want to get 7 acres in the city, it would be very expensive. I lived in California. I moved out of Orange County, California, in a suburb of L.A. to the countryside of Phelan by Victorville on the way to Vegas on the other side of the mountains. An hour from downtown L.A. toward Vegas in a dry desert with rocks, okay? Because it was countryside, it was cheaper to have 2 acres of land for my children to play around with. So you were not living in a country area. You need to go move the country. The more away you are from city and all the conveniences, okay, the less the housing and everything will cost for you. So anyhow, that's my suggestion. You can go to Panama if you want, but I want you to know the reality that most expatriates eventually come back to America. So think twice about that before you leave the country that you're very familiar with. Any other questions, Scott?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
No, sir. That's very good, and thank you for your advice. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
I'll take it into serious consideration.
You got it, my friend. Thank you for calling. Let's see. We have a question online you want to go to? Online, someone says, did Peter Schiff's father fill out a 1040 form? No, Urban Schiff, Peter Schiff's father, who was a friend of mine from late 1990s, but I met him in 1996 for the first time, 97. And I knew him till 2006, when he went to prison. And I met Peter Schiff back in the year 2000 in Los Angeles in one of his father's seminars. Anyhow, Urban Schiff had not filed a tax return for a long time, since late 70s. However, in early 2000 years, he discovered it by someone telling him that, hey, if you put a 0 on your 1040 tax form and you have withholding from your paycheck by your employer, you can get that withholding money back. So he did that himself and told other people to do the same. Okay, so he did file zero returns, not regular returns. He filed tax returns showing 0 income, 0 taxes due to the IRS. So hope that answers your question. Okay? All right. Let's go to the caller right now from area code 615 area code. Please give me your first name. I heard about Freedom Law School. And then your question, please. Are you there? Area code 615 caller. One more try. 615 area code caller. You're live if you are here with us.
Hello. I'm so sorry. Are you talking to me? Sweetie?
Yes. What's your name, me?
Oh, I'm so sorry. I called in to listen because I always learn so much.
Oh, just okay. No problem.
Peymon.
All right, no problem.
My name is Sherry.
It's all. You have any questions, Mary, or you're good?
You and what you do, I so respect you, and
Thank you.
I just know that you are a walking encyclopedia of truth about what we need to do.
Thank
and
you.
so I call in and listen.
Thank you.
And I just have so much respect for you.
Thank you.
I please know that I didn't have a question, but I was just being a part of it and learning. Thank you. And let me ask you. I've gone on and I started listening and learning from your sessions, 1 through I think 5, and then others on your site. I haven't read anything yet about joining any group with you. Is there a group to join? Is there a charge? What? Bring me up to speed on that, will you please?
Well, the step 6 of our Restore Freedom Plan is of our 7 steps to be free of the IRS is a Restore Freedom Plan. You can join a Restore Freedom Plan. It's modeled after America's founding fathers. All for one for all. We all join together. We all pitch in. We all contribute to protection of each and every one of us all collectively. We're doing the same thing as them. However, it can be done all peacefully without resorting to bloodshed. Okay? So that's what it's about. The membership is 30% of what you otherwise would have paid the IRS. The minimum membership is only $2,000 per year. You must maintain your membership because you divorce the corrupt King George of England, the Washington D.C. swamp of criminality, and you contribute to founding fathers of America, George Washington, and company of today, and align yourself with them because you already align with this movement and with us anyways. So this way you completely protected from any and all IRS attacks. I'm sorry?
Yeah. I hadn't gotten to 6 yet, but I was going through YouTube and I was learning various other things, and had just started that, and I had to leave. My daughter has been sick, and I won't go into that, but it's taken up my time a couple of weeks, and so I'm only on Social Security. Every investment that I had was lost during the 2000 downturn. It was gobbled up. It just didn't disappear. It just changed its hands. So I don't have that kind of money to join.
Then don't join. You don't need to join us at all. Mary, you don't need to join us at all. If you're living on Social Security alone, IRS will not come after you anyhow because according to them, Social Security alone is non-taxable anyhow. So you don't need to join at all. There's no need.
I'm going to be honest with you, and I hope that you'll make it where no one can hear me. Will you make it where no one can hear what I'm saying?
Everybody can hear you in the public area. They don't know your full name or your phone number. It's private. It's a public forum, but that's okay. You just marry. What's your question?
I haven't been paying my taxes since the 90s.
Okay, so what?
I got mad because of certain things.
Okay.
And I'm not going to go into all of that. But I haven't paid taxes since the 90s.
Good for you.
I got fed up. And I was very upset with what happened. I got no help with what happened. And a trust fund that my husband left us was eaten up by the National Bank, was given to another member of his family illegally. Our money was stolen. They did all sorts of things. I tried to fight them. I fought them. I didn't try. I fought them and stood up to them. And I got no help from my government, from my state or federal government. And there was about $18 million in that trust.
Wow.
And I have been viciously angry ever since because I figured it out. It's all lies. They have been lying to me and to my family since they came into this country. Sometime in the late 1600s is when my family started coming in. I'm part Cherokee Indian, which means nothing in this country. And I have many bloods. But I am a true American. And I got no help whatsoever. I was shunned and pushed out and lost all of it. And my babies grew up without the advantages that could have brought and the wealth that could have come from it for them. And I've just been furious ever since.
So, Mary, let me suggest a course of action
without
for you.
bloodshed. I'm going to tell you, I don't know that we can do this without bloodshed.
Yes, we can. Okay?
They are vicious.
No, Mary, we are not exercising our rights. We've been trained to be ignorant of the U.S. Constitution, the Bill of Rights, the Declaration of Independence, our system of government and laws, and they've taken advantage of our ignorance. Why is it after 34 years I'm not in prison for not filing income taxes? Because they know I know the law better than them. When I was in tax court back in 2011, I remember the lawyer my opponent was Sebastian Voth, a nice guy actually, one of the most decent government workers I've come across. And he told me, because we had to talk about preparing our case for the tax court. He told me, Peymon, every time you get on the phone, you teach me something new. He's a government lawyer. How come I'm not a lawyer, never went to law school? He did. He went to law school. I'm teaching him about law. Because I took the time to educate myself. And so can you. Every one of you can educate yourself by going to our website, freedomlawschool.org. Okay? And what you can do, Mary, is take action. Violence is going to be perfect excuse for them to shoot you down, put you in prison, and then blast it all over that we bunch of crazies, and you got to stop the crazies. Okay? That's the last thing you want to do, to fall into that trap. Okay? That's why they set up January 6ers. Right? They deliberately threw stuff at them in a tear gas to agitate them and beat them up. They deliberately did that. Deliberately, the whole thing was done so they can then charge him with insurrection by walking inside the U.S. Capitol. They never hurt anybody. Don't fall for that kind of propaganda. What you can do is to go in from supermarkets and get our freedom. We just got a new batch of our Restore Freedom brochures and Fast Track Your Success brochures. They both have the same content inside. They both show you in 12 pages. No law requires 99% of Americans to file and pay income and payroll taxes. In 10 pages, I should say. Okay? Free. We mail them to you. Free. Hand them out to people in front of the supermarket. Restore freedom. Be free. Be prosperous. Fight inflation. Keep 100% of your hard-earned money.
I'll do that.
There you go.
Hand them out.
Yeah, and then put your name and phone number at the back bottom, and we'll pay you. We will pay you cash. okay, or gold or crypto, so that you get rewarded and thanked and acknowledged for your part in getting our message out and restore freedom in America. All of you.
Well, honey, I will do that. I will do it.
Very good. Call us. All right, Mary. Thank you for calling. I got to get to other callers. I appreciate you, Mary. Thank you for calling us. We have a new caller right now.
God bless you. Thank you so much.
You are welcome, my pleasure. You better call. You better call. Okay, I'm going to ask him. Did Mary call? Request brochures, okay?
Honey, my name's Sherry.
Sherry, okay. All right.
Sherry.
Okay.
Sherry.
Sherry,
Yeah.
Sherry, baby.
That's it.
I know your song, Sherry.
That's it.
That's it. Sherry, baby. How old are you, Sherry?
All right, sweetheart. I will call and get the brochures and go send them and go hand them out.
There you go. I like the
outside
passion of this
Costco.
lady.
I'll go outside of BJ's.
Eddie, go to the most expensive supermarkets first. Why? Because on the average, people that make more money they got them because they were not stupid. They got either inheritance or were smarter. So they're more open-minded, interested, and literate to educate themselves on the average. But go anywhere. Give it to your friends, dentist offices, mechanics offices, where people go, wait, put our brochures out there for the people to read. Okay? They pick it up and call. That's why I ask people, how did you hear about us first? By the way, how did you hear about us, Sherry? You didn't tell me that. How did you hear about Freedom Law School?
So let's see. I saw you first. I guess it was in the early 2000s. You were on TV, some TV show, and forgive me, that's eluded me, but I remember you on TV, and you were expounding about, how we don't have to pay taxes, that we don't live in District of Columbia or various islands or territories. And then, I think you were on Oprah.
No, I was on Oprah on TV, but that's over 20 years ago. That's good. That's good, Sherry. Thank you. I got to get to other people's calls, okay? Thank you for calling, sweetie. Let's go. We have two callers right now. Area code 618.
Thank you. Can I stay on the line?
You can listen. Yeah, you can listen. No problem. Stay on and listen all you want. No problem. You are encouraged to stay on the line and listen. That's all good, Sherry. No problem. We have a 618 area code caller next. Please give me your first name, how you heard about us, and then your question, please.
Hey.
Hey.
Okay. My name is Greg, and I heard about you on YouTube. Marjorie video.
Okay. And how may I help you?
So, have you ever had the IRS figure your tax for you and impose liens on your property?
I never had any taxes for them to do for me to begin with. I never had a real estate for them to lead it. So what is your question about your situation?
I didn't hear what you said. I'm sorry.
I never had a property for the IRS to lien, and I never had a tax requirement to file a tax return for them to do it for me. They did lien me one time back in 2009 for over $600,000 for 13 years of employment taxes they claimed out of them, which I did not. And I beat them in IRS appeals office and tax court. It took me 2 years of fighting them. The crooks and criminals, they made up these phony numbers against me. So that's in step 5. I beat them at that. But what is your question?
My question is, what happened with the people who wrote Vultures in Eagles Clothing? I remember having that book in the early 2000s, and they didn't go along with the Freedom Plan, and so they got convicted or something.
What happened?
My question is, how?
I'll tell you.
My question is how.
I know that Lynn Meredith, who wrote the book to Vultures Eagles Clothing, she was in Huntington Beach, California, and I was in Tustin, California, about 20 minutes away. Okay? And we met back in 1993. And I was one of the first people to sell her books. I was a young activist. I was only 30 years old at the time. And we became friends. And then once I found out that the state citizenship argument that she was making in her book, along others, was wrong, I put it out there. She got upset at me. She thought I was criticizing her. I wasn't. I was saying the guy that taught us both about that, Richard McDonald, was a mistake. And then she stopped talking to me, and she did a lot of mistakes. She's none of one of those people that didn't listen to me and my guidance. She did a lot of wrong things. And back, she was charged criminally, and it was year 2004. She went to trial, convicted, put in jail, eventually got out. And that's what happened to them. How can I help you right now? But that's old history, Greg.
Yeah, so apparently my wife and I we're wanting to send the 2,000, and I noticed there's a guarantee. That how's that guaranteed? Is there like something in writing, or how does that work? And she also is asking me, how do you, like, I filled out the form to see how much our Restore Freedom plan would cost to join, and it told me $2,000 the minimum, because we don't make a lot of money. She is wondering, is that all we have to do? Just tell you how much we make? You guys don't want to check it out? She has this big book that she keeps the details of our business, and she's like, am I going to have to show that to them to get our price for membership, or what? And so it's how do you verify what we say our income is? And second, how do we verify that there's a guarantee?
Okay. So if you go to our website, freedomlawschool.org, take the gold bar there on how to go to 7 steps, okay, to be free of the IRS, okay, but you start at 7 easy steps to regain your power and freedom. You click on that, and then you go to 7 steps.
I did all that.
You go to step 6. When you go to step 6, you go inside that, okay, continue step 6, and you scroll down, you will come across the gold rectangle that says on it membership calculation and application. You click on that, okay, and let's see, here we go. When you click on that, let's see how mine is not takes me straight to the application. I want to go to no, I'm sorry. Application. Hold on. I'm sorry. Go below that at the very bottom of the page, and here a little bit lower. It's the second gold bar. Sorry. Restore Freedom Plan Agreement. You click on the Restore Freedom Plan Agreement rectangle. Okay, and when you do that, it takes you to the Restore Freedom Plan Agreement, and here it spells out everything about the scope of agreement, what it covers, all that in detail. The 100% guarantee is in here. Read it carefully. It's not too long. If you have any questions about it, please call us. We'll be happy to go over all of that with you. And you ask about the 100% guarantee, it is there in paragraph 5. Okay? 100% guarantee. Read that carefully. It's all they explained for you, my friend. And hope you get with us, and we help you. Now, here's the thing about that. We do not verify how much you actually make, okay? How much, because I'm not going to be a policeman like the IRS. I don't want to be a policeman for that. I rely upon your honesty and your integrity to be truthful that you are. Put the correct number on there. You're supposed to put the correct number of approximately how much you make. 75,000, 520,000, okay, 10,100,000, whatever that number is. You put that approximate number closest to you round it up to nearest 1,000 or 10,000 if it's a higher income person. As long as the number is pretty close to what it is, that's good, you're covered. But if you put on there you made only $50,000, so your membership would be $2,000. Then the IRS comes after you. And income was $200,000. Guess what? You got no protection. You got no coverage. You got no guarantee. You just gave us a donation. You just hurt yourself by lying. I'm a truthful person. Founding fathers were truthful people, and I hope and count on you to be the truthful people that I know most Americans are, and most people in this movement definitely are for sure. So that's how I do that. You hurt yourself if you lie on that, on the form, okay? Because I base your membership based on 30% of what you would have otherwise paid the IRS. So obviously, if you make $10 million, you pay more your membership than someone who made membership was only $50,000. Okay, and 30% what you would have owed the IRS. So if you owe the IRS normally, let's say $10,000, you take 30% of that $10,000. $3,000 you contribute to the Restore Freedom Plan. That protects you. Protects your other $7,000 also that you get to keep with 100% guarantee. We do all the work. You will not go to prison. We pay the attorneys. You get unlimited consultation. If they ever take any of your money, Freedom Law School will reimburse you in full whatever IRS took from you, $10,000, $10 million or more, and you have no risk at all whatsoever. That's how that works. So 30% what you would have paid the IRS is calculated easily for most people by going to our website. You go to our website at the top center, click on sign up. You click on sign up, and there it is. The application comes up. A very few short questions that you fill out, and it gives you a membership amount, and you send it in to us along with the funds, and you cover it. You do that year by year. And the minimum membership, as you said, is $2,000. And when you tell other people about Freedom Law School, you love and spread the truth to the American people, okay? And empower them with the law and the truth to restore freedom in America and our families, okay? Now I'll pay you 50% of the people's first year membership as a thank you, as a reward for you for sharing this information with other people. That's why I suggest you call us, and we'll mail you at no charge our Restore Freedom brochure and Fast Track Your Success brochure, okay? Send them out. We'll send them out to you, no charge. To get them out to other people, put your name and phone number at the bottom white area of the back of the brochures so we know it's you that referred somebody to us, so we can pay you and thank and acknowledge and reward you, which is why I always ask how you heard of us when you call on the Freedom Hour. Because if I know a friend of yours, acquaintance, referred it to us, I want to make sure I track it and reward and thank the guy. Hey, thank you for telling Greg about us. Thank you for telling John about us.
Marjorie Taylor?
Yeah. Well, Marjorie Taylor Greg was the broadcast I was on. Okay? So that's something that we arranged. That's not you doing that. Okay? All right?
She doesn't get $1,000.
No, she gets.
So to clarify, the paying the fee. So we send in cash, crypto, or bullion, and is there like a receipt that we sent you something and you give us a hang on to, like put under our pillow so we still see it night that we're protected? Hold
on. Your phone cuts out. You're cutting out a lot. Your phone cuts out a lot. I'm not hearing what you're saying. Get the better area because you cut out a lot. Say it again.
Hold on. Is this better?
Yes. Try it again.
So when we send cash or bullion by registered mail, and then you get our fee, our membership fee. Do you send us something back that says here's your receipt for what you've paid?
Of course we do.
Law school.
Well, of course. Why wouldn't I not send you a receipt? Oh, of course I want to have a record of it. Yes. Why would I not do that?
Okay, so we have.
Yes.
I don't know, because I'm just asking questions because the world's full of shysters. You sound too good to be true. So I've been burned before, and I wanted to check. Like,
no problem, my friend. No problem.
It says on his website that he's got my back, but how do I really know that?
Yes, we send you a receipt in mail. Yes, we do, brother. Because I'm here, number one, not for money, but for freedom. I'm going to restore freedom in America. Okay, I came from Iran, an unfree country, and I want to do things upright and straight. Okay, right. If I want the government to not be crooks and criminals, be honest, I got to be honest with myself first. with you and everybody else out there. So, yes,
Exactly.
I'll definitely give you receipts when you get sent a payment to us.
Okay, thanks a lot.
You're welcome. Thanks for calling, Greg. I appreciate you, my friend. We have, let's see, someone with a question up there before I go. 2 callers. We have online waiting for us. We have 2 callers also. You guys want to go to their online questions first? I can do that. We have an online question they guys want to have me answer, they say. Let's see who the question is. Here we go. I am on U.S. green card. I have concerns that I can't get the U.S. citizenship if I don't file and pay income taxes. Is that true? Nope. I became a U.S. citizen, and the only question they ask is that, did you ever not pay income taxes that you were required to file? As far as I know, no, I don't think there's a problem with that. But if you give me the forms that they want you to fill out first, let me know. I'm not an immigration law specialist, okay? I'm not a bankruptcy law specialist, but I have some familiarity with bankruptcy, some familiarity with immigration laws because I'm an immigrant and went through the process. So that's the best answer I can give you on that, okay? All right, let's see. We have another question online before the callers waiting for us on there. There's another online question that from, let's see, Gulfside Living Healthcare. I recently filed bankruptcy. I owed the IRS $20,000, and that went in a bankruptcy. My attorney said that if I wasn't filing, I needed to file an extension in order for my bankruptcy to be accepted. Yes, okay. Well, you owe the IRS $20,000. You know, to bankrupt taxes, there's the tax return must have been due 3 years ago. You filed at least 2 years ago. IRS has at least 240 days to collect from you. There's a lot of restrictions. You cannot just bankrupt taxes. And you must literally sue the IRS, drag them in bankruptcy court, a lawsuit, to be able to bankrupt them. It's not easy peasy like bankrupting credit cards, old electric bills and water bills. It's not like that. So if you only owe $20,000, I would highly recommend do not do bankruptcy. Only $20,000? No. Chapter 7 bankruptcy should not be done by vast numbers of people. You don't need it. It's not appropriate. They'll rip you off. It's going to cost so much money. The attorney will get paid. It's not worth it. I will highly caution you against just doing bankruptcy. Okay? I've seen many people be totally screwed in bankruptcy. Totally. Okay? And for $20,000 only file tax returns? No, I will not do that. Okay, can I go to the question on call, or is there more online question? There's one more online question people want to have me reply from John Bugatti. If you don't file until you die, how does your children inherit without estate tax? Oh, that's easy. Not only the first $50 million of estate tax is exempt, according to the IRS, from any taxes at all, and vast numbers of people, the estate is much smaller than $50 million. But guess what? There is no law requiring you to file and pay federal estate taxes either. Even if you make billions of estate inheritance, you pay zero income tax on that. Did you put that on the website yet, guys, the estate tax video? Oh, man. This week, we're going to put it on. I'm going to put, people call me about estate tax. I'm going to put on a video about how Americans in the 50 states do not know estate income tax. I'll give you a quick view of that right now. The seminal section on that is section 2001 of the Internal Revenue Code. 26 U.S.C. 2001. Let's see, hold on. 2001 U.S. Code.house.gov. The official government's website, all the laws is right here. Boom. It came up. Section 2001. This is the imposition and rate of tax. Okay. Coming up. Here it is. From Title 26 and Internal Revenue Code. Okay. Okay. Subchapter A, estate of citizens or residents of D.C. Part 1, tax imposed. Okay. This is subtitle B, estate and gift taxes. So here it is, imposition and rate of tax. A tax is hereby imposed on the transfer of taxable estate of every descendant who is a citizen or resident of the United States. There is that term again. United States. Yep. United States, of course, we all know United States in tax law means what? The District of Columbia. So that's for citizens and residents of D.C. Yep, there, in fact, that, there you go. Section 7701. When using this title, okay, they define many words, and the term United States and state, guess what? They both only include and mean only D.C. Okay? So you don't have to pay estate tax either, my friends. You're all good and free. All right, I think we can go to the calls we have on the questions, or do we? We have one from area code 770, I think. And we have another call from area code 615. Right. What's that? We want to do those? 760-615. We took a vote. Okay, they're just listening in. Okay. No more questions online. Listen, if you have a question right now, the board is open. Call 424-552-1299 and press 1 on your telephone keypad. I will take your question next. Call 442-552-1299 and press 1 on your telephone keypad, and I will take you next. Online, though, we do have some questions. Let's see. Who's that? Dr. K Magic. You can borrow against your life insurance if you have a fatal or terminal disease. Yeah? Why would you borrow your own money? Why would you pay someone else interest for use of your own money? Don't buy the savings type life insurance policies. Universal life, whole life, cash value. They are a rip off. They steal a part of your savings up front. 20, 30%, whatever, up front. Bank of America, they don't do that. Chase, Wells Fargo. They take none of your money as a fee to put your money with the bank, do they? No. But life insurance companies rip you off by doing it in a detailed 5-print contract that you don't read. And then you want to take your money, out of the bank, you take it out. You don't pay the bank no fee for taking your own money. But from a life insurance company, you have to borrow your own money, pay interest to the bank for your own money? What? Okay, all right. So let's go to the next caller from Hard D Tennis, working for C Corp. I filed exempt on W-2. I heard if I earn over about $200,000 a year, that I would have to make a letter to release liability from the corporation to the IRS. Is there any resource about this? I don't know what the heck you're talking about. You're very vague in your question, okay? Do you work for a C Corp? You mean, are you an employee, or is that your own C Corp that hires you? I'm not clear. Yeah, I guess. And then, if you earn about $200,000 or more, you would have to make a letter to release liability. Release liability for what? From the corporation. That's not true at all. You have to. That's not true. I don't know where you got that. No, that's false. Okay. All right, and then he goes to ask also, are C Corps considered working for the federal government since the shareholders are involved? No. The only corporations that must pay income tax are District of Columbia citizens. Okay? In fact, you're going to go down to 7701 section, okay? Definitions. 7701A30, United States person, means a citizen or resident of the United States, which means citizen or resident of Washington, D.C. A domestic to District of Columbia partnership. A domestic or within District of Columbia corporation. You must be within District of Columbia entity to be a United States person and or a tax. All right? So you're free. You don't have to pay corporate income tax either. No income tax, federal income tax, you have to pay. Payroll taxes, either end. Federal unemployment taxes, estate tax, corporate tax, gun manufacturing, or gambling wagering tax. None of them apply to people in the 50 states. Yep. But they deceived us to make us think the United States always means 50 states when it does not. Okay? All right. So, any other questions we got there, guys? Or should I go to the letters people send in the mail? Because we do have some letters to go through, guys. We have some letters here from, let's go here. Letter we got from New York, from Lanos in Whippingers Falls, New York. Got a notice of proposed driver's license suspension. And the state of New York Department of Taxation Finance says you must resolve your New York State tax debts or your driver's license may be suspended unless you pay or respond within 60 days from the date of this notice, which was September 5th, 2025, almost a year ago. We will provide the New York State Department of Motor Vehicles, DMV, with your name, slave surveillance number, and other identifying information, and recommend that DMV suspend your driver's license. Pay the amount due or respond and provide proof that you are exempt from suspension, okay, or call them. Well, on our second page, he highlighted, it says, suspension of your driver's license will cause undue economic hardship. Okay, so in here, how to protest. Well, you had 60 days to protest it. You didn't do that. Sorry, you should have done that. You didn't know that. Read the letters, folks. When you get a letter, read them. They're plain English. At least read them. Okay, you should call me sooner, my friend. I'm sorry you didn't do that, but I think you can still call them and make a payment plan with them, and they'll reinstate your license. That's what they want. As long as you come up with a payment plan, they'll reinstate your license. Now, if next year you leave New York and move to New Jersey, okay, or Virginia, or Florida, some other state, and get a driver's license there, then you're free. They cannot take your driver's license again. So, but right now, you probably want to call, make a payment plan to get your driver's license back if they have taken it away from you already, because I don't know. All right, any questions online? No, we're going to go to two more online questions by mail. We got Donnell and Maryland in Owens X Road, Alabama. Got a letter from IRS's Philadelphia office, April 13, 2026. We auditing your 2024 Form 1040 and need a response from you. Yep, we auditing your 2024 federal income tax return and need you to send additional information to support the following items claimed on return. Certain business expenses. Well, that's why you don't do that, folks. Stop filing 1040 income tax confession forms. That's how they get to audit you. That's how they get to rape you, because you keep signing those 1040 income tax confession forms. When you do that, that is how they get the power over you. That is how, okay, you state under oath that you owe the IRS money, number one, okay? And you give them the power to audit you because you filed their return. There's no audit without a return. Without 1040, there's nothing to audit. There's nothing to question. There's nothing to examine. You claim those expenses. But if you never filed a confession form saying that you owe the IRS anything at all in the first place, there would be no audit at all whatsoever. So, but still, the best thing to do is I would ignore them because these letters don't mean anything. You let them issue you a notice of deficiency and challenge them in U.S. tax court so they cannot expand this to other years. Okay, informally they add other years in there. And I would say join the Restore Freedom Plan for 2025 if you haven't filed the 1040 confession form and be protected from this happening to you again. Okay, so no more 1040 confession forms on your own. Be free, or join Restore Freedom Plan with 100% guarantee. You have two choices available for you. Okay. All right, we have now another person with an email question, Danielle and Mick from Dallas, Texas. Peymon, I'm saying the attached form so you can answer the question. All right, attached, you will see the franchise tax 2026 that we were told needed to be completed yearly. If not, we'll lose the LLC. Our accountant told us this. We are not using the LLC at the moment, but don't want to give it up as we paid to set it up. Well, in that case, you have to pay the franchise fee. Do we have to fill out this form yearly out for LLC in Texas as we don't want to lose it? Probably. I do not know Texas state law. If they do, it's usually yearly. Okay? Usually that's what they have to do. Yearly fees you got to pay to maintain these LLCs. Some LLCs, like in New Mexico and Wyoming, there's no annual fee at all. But Texas does. You may want to switch to a New Mexico or Wyoming LLC and have no more annual fees. You want to go that way, have no annual fees, or in Texas, you want to keep this one and pay annual fee because you paid so much money already to set it up. It's up to you to decide. And you've done your petition to your congressman. Great. Yep, that's it. That's it. And let me see, you got this franchise tax 2026 annual law. And it says right there, 2026 annual long form report. Yes, annually you have to file and pay whatever the form is for this LLC franchise fee. Yep. You have an entity in most states. They do have annual fees. They expect you to pay to maintain that entity in good standing by the state law. We're almost done. Any questions? Call now. If you want to call us at the office, call us at 813-444-4800. We'll help you free of charge. To educate yourself, go to freedomlawschool.org, our website, to be free. Okay? Any more questions? The number to call right now is 442-552-1299 and press 1 on your telephone keypad. Again, the number dial is 424-552-1299 and press 1. I'll take a call right now, 424-552-1299 and press 1. Okay? Any questions online, guys? Would you everybody that online ask questions there? We're good there? We have one more question, looks like, right? From At Heart Tennis. We already answered that question. Yeah, we already answered that question. I think we're good there. Right? All right. And yeah, we answered both those questions. We're good there. All right. All right, guys. Listen, I love you all, and I want the best for each of you. I want a free, prosperous, healthy, positive, happy, harmonious life for all of you. The fact is, though, I cannot make you free. You must choose freedom. It's very simple. All you got to do is go to our website, freedomlawschool.org, okay, and seek the truth, and the truth shall set you free. That's the key attitude you got to have from everybody. And go click on the gold bar on the front page of our website. Start the 7 easy steps to regain your power and freedom. And when you do that, there's 7 easy steps to free yourself from income tax slavery. Okay, and you can listen to these videos as you drive around town on your smartphone, in your car. Go to work, go shopping errands, and listen to the videos while you wash the road. At lunch at work and dinner at home, put the video again, this time watch and verify for yourself that everything you see at freedomlawschool.org is the law that you're following. And it's all, and you don't have to be afraid of the IRS. You don't have to file and pay income tax anymore. No more signing those 1040 confession forms and put the rope around your neck because your accountant deceived you. That to sign a 1040 form is a safe thing to do. It's the opposite. You put the rope around your neck when you sign a 1040 income tax confession form. And go to step 3, you'll recognize IRS is fooling you. They deceived you and bluffing you that they're powerful, you're weak. It's the opposite. They are weak. IRS is a Wizard of Oz creation of the corrupt major media to have you and Dorothy and their friends in Wizard of Oz be afraid of this toothless, incompetent, lazy, irresponsible, dysfunctional IRS. Okay? You've been brainwashed all your life, pushing your buttons of fear, panic, stress, anxiety. They tell you to pay your taxes, file early by the media, charismatic preachers, okay, the IRS. No. Deprogram yourself of the lies, okay? And you can stop paying tribute to the IRS. They are not your God. They are your public servants out of control, okay? Simply write your lawmakers. Question the IRS's authority by running your Congress members and filing income tax only if your congressman can show you the law that requires you to file and pay income taxes. And this is how you safely free yourself from IRS deception, robbery, and slavery. And you can do it all for free. Yes, for free. Now, you can also take courage from our victories in step 5, knowing that IRS is none of this big Godzilla monster the corrupt major media has painted in your head for you. They're a toothless, fireless lizard if you stop filing 10 for income tax confession forms against yourself. Okay, like I have done successfully for over 30 years. Okay, and then know that none of our students who stop filing paying income tax with Freedom Law School first has ever gone to prison for not filing and paying income taxes if they stayed with me, followed my instructions. Nor have they had their paycheck or bank account levied or income or business seized by the IRS. And if you want to have 100% guarantee, because 99% they will leave you alone when you don't file it anyways, but you want to make it a 100% guarantee, then the Restore Freedom Plan is for you in a mold of America's founding fathers. George Washington and Company stopped paying 3% T-tax to corrupt King of England, King George, and then they funded their own revolution to restore freedom for the colonists. We learned from them, do the same thing. Don't pay the access that you don't owe to them, the federal income taxes, and instead fund the freedom movement. That's right. Fund for your security with Restore Freedom Plan. You get a 100% guarantee. You will not go to prison. We do all the legal work. We get unlimited consultation. And attorneys, we pay, not you. If they ever take your money, we'll reimburse you in full. All that, as long as you maintain your membership in Restore Freedom Plan. Again, this is an option. It's a privilege. If you want to participate in it, you don't have to, okay? And then step 7 is love and spread the truth, right? To everybody you know, spouse, children, siblings, parents, family members, co-workers, all your friends. The truth, the law. Educate them about freedom. This at our Freedom Law School will pay you 50% of their first year membership if they did choose to join our Restore Freedom Plan. Folks, I can't think of a better win-win way than this. Can you? Win-win. This is totally winning. Everybody wins. American people win. You win. Your family wins. Who loses? Oh, I know who loses. The Epstein billionaire gang. They lose. The pedophiles. They lose. The warmongers. They lose. Because they don't get to have your money through the government and then passed on to them. Your money remains with you and your family. And if you choose, it goes part of it, 30%, to restore freedom in America. Okay? Peacefully, with no violence, and safety. So with that, my brothers and sisters, I give you all my love, and I wish for you that you choose freedom. This was not an accident that you came across Freedom Law School. You were meant to live free. You were meant to come across this presentation. So that you take the time to go to freedomlawschool.org and free yourself and everybody around you that you love, that you'll give them a chance to be free as well, like you. Thank you for being with me. I'll be back with you guys next Tuesday night again.